of Alfred Mulwa as the new presiding bishop of AIC. This is how it looks today. Unnecessary admissions, tests and tricks hospitals used to make money. Remember, this began yesterday, so it continues today. Our investigations into Kenya's healthcare reveals a pipeline structure where patients are seen as customers and hospitals ensure they pay as much as possible. This story continues on page 8 and 10 of the Daily Nation. And the world is mourning Kobe today. Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter accident in the US. And of course, we know he was with his daughter Gianna as well, and they all perished in that particular crash. We'll give you details of this much later in the course of the program today. This is what is on the front page of the Daily Nation today. Let's see what the Standard is holding for us, and this is what you're waking up to on the front page of the Standard this morning. Uhuru and Raila take handshake to US prayer talks, right? Uhuru and Raila take handshake to US prayer talks. That is what we have on the front page of the Standard today. Pulling together. For the first time, the president and ODM leader are expected to take to the international stage in early February to showcase their political truce that has won global acclaim. It's a new beginning. President and deputy join AIC faithful in historic service there. This is another story. You saw that also on the front page of the Daily Nation today. Side shot, President Uhuru Kenyatta with his deputy William Ruto during the installation of the Right Reverend Abraham Mulwa as the new presiding bishop of the African Inland Church yesterday at the AIC Milimani, Nairobi. Bishop Mulwa succeeded Bishop Silas Yego, who retired after 18 years at the helm. This story continues on page 3 of the Standard this morning. Also sidebar here, we have politics fallout in Jubilee over BBI retreat in Naivasha. There's a feud here. Allies of Deputy President William Ruto insist all ruling party MPs had been invited to the talks, but MPs allied to the president distanced themselves from forum. And in sports, Kenya beats South Africa in thrilling sevens clash there, and you can see how this lagged out yesterday. This is Shujaa, Kenya's sevens rugby team, yesterday crashing South Africa 36-14 and bagged 10 points at the Hamilton leg at the IRBS Sevens. You can follow the story on page 36 of the Standard. I zoom out for you to see this is how it looks today. Make sure you grab a copy for yourself as well. And tears as auctions account for a third of properties on sale. Things are dire in that particular sector, it seems. Gone. Alarm of a rising number of property owners defaulting on loans and mortgages as supply strips demand, signally harsh economic times. This story continues on page 2 of the Standard this morning. Let's move on. See the Star, what is holding for us. We pick up the Star, and this is what you have today on the front page of the Star. Mutunga, I was not bribed over 2013 Raila case. This is a splash here today. XCJ was neither pressured by Jubilee nor CORD coalition. And this is all about a petition there. Says blaming judiciary in graft war is a diversionary strategy. And the story continues on page 4 and 5 of the Star this morning. Tired of waiting, Ruto allies call for PG. This is a sad story here. The disgruntled camp of Jubilee politicians who are reportedly tired of waiting for President Uhuru Kenyatta to convene a parliamentary group meeting has decided to do it themselves, it says. The politicians, largely allied to the Deputy President William Ruto's wing of the divided Jubilee Party, held a meeting yesterday night in Naivasha. The group firmed as Tanga will, from the meeting, make public their collective stand on the BBI Jubilee Party polls at the 2022 general election. Organizers told the Star that they expect about 160 MPs for a conversation that will help cobble together a united position on the Building Bridges initiative called Rallies. The story continues on page 6 of the Star this morning, and we have here, this is a standalone picture. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Interior CS Fred Matiang'i with DP William Ruto at Africa Inland Church in Nairobi yesterday. You can read the rest of the details there on the front page of the Star. Also, I will never go back to Garissa, says terror survivor. This is an aftermath there. So the blowbacks are there as well. You can follow the story on page 3 of the Star this morning. Kenyatta makes 10-minute speech, leaves Ruto in charge. This is a rocky affair, it seems. Also, call for regional government picks momentum. This is a proposal. Of course, we had this declaration from Mombasa as well. Are we going to have a 3-tier government, and who is going to actually cater for that particular bill as it is? Is it you, the taxpayer? Of course it is you. So we're waiting to see how this will pan out as well. This will be the basis of our discussion as well this morning. That's how the Star looks this morning. Make sure you grab a copy for yourself. Also, the legal tussle continues. This is Sarah Cohen to pick her clothes, makeup kits today. And the story is tucked to on page 2 of the Star this morning. People Daily is up next. Let's try and see what is holding for us. And this is what you're waking up to on the front page of the People Daily. Ruto team seeks new route to 2022. That is the splash today. Back to drawing board a day after mixed reception at the Coast BBI Regional Forum in Mombasa. Legislators allied to DP troop to Naivasha to mount a comeback strategy as they call for adoption of contentious 2005 Bombers draft, saying it addresses current reform concerns. The story continues on page 4 of the People Daily today. Also, change of guard at AIC, you know the story already. And this is what the caption reads: President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto with outgoing Africa Inland Church presiding Bishop Silas Yego and the church's new head Bishop Abraham Mulo yesterday. Mulo and his deputy Bishop Paul Kirui, I should say, were installed during a colorful ceremony at the AIC Milimani, Nairobi. Also, alarm as the deadly leprosy awakens. This is on your health segment inside the People Daily today. On page 22 and 23 of the People Daily this morning. Don't tell me you're out of memory. This is beginning to act up right now. Let's see if we can pick up the Taifa Leo and see what it is holding for us today. Joho agawanya Waislamu. That is a splash today on the front page of Taifa Leo. Viongozi wa kidini wapinga hatua ya wanasiasa kumtawaza gavana wa Mombasa kuongoza waumini kisiasa nchini. And of course now it's beginning to take shape. This is just barely even a day after the pronouncements of the third government tier here. Already reactions are coming to the fore. And it says here that viongozi wa dini wa Kiislamu wamewakosoa wanasiasa kwa kumtangaza gavana Hassan Joho wa Mombasa kuwa kiongozi wa Waislamu nchini. I think it's a different story. You can follow the story on page 2 of Taifa Leo this morning. And this is how it is, the reality on the ground. Kero Lanzige, wadudu hatari wavamia mashamba ya Muguka. And you can see a man trying to escape there, surrounded by all this swarm of locusts. This is a story you can follow inside Taifa Leo this morning. Let's buckle down to business and see what the Business Daily is holding for us this morning. And this is what you have on the front page of the Business Daily this morning. Business Daily. SACCOs win as members' savings grow to 766 billion shillings. Treasury credits strict governance rules for growth as analysts link it to higher dividend payouts. And you can see the picture there of Sasra CEO. This is John Mwaka. Members' deposits in savings and credit cooperative societies, SACCOs that is, grew by 76 billion shillings in the year to June 2018. New data about the Treasury shows reflecting an improving investment culture among Kenyans. Total member of deposits increased to 766 billion shillings over the period compared to 690 billion shillings the previous year. You can follow the story on page 4 of the Business Daily this morning. Also, outbreak aftermath. This is Wuhan. Medical staff wearing protective clothing outside a hospital in Wuhan yesterday. The city is at the epicenter of a viral outbreak that has killed at least 56 people and infected nearly 2,000. China has expanded drastic travel restrictions to contain the viral contagion as the United States and France prepare to evacuate their citizens from the quarantine city. Also, 2 billion shillings rise in disbursement eases counties' cash crunch. The Treasury's disbursement to counties increased by 2.1 billion shillings in the 6 months to December, easing a cash crunch that had threatened to adversely affect service delivery in the 47 devolved governments. Data published in the Kenya Gazette shows that disbursements increased to 117.2 billion shillings from 115.1 billion shillings during a similar period a year ago. So you can follow this story that continues on page 4 of the Business Daily this morning. Also, half of hospitals fail expired drug test. Half of hospitals fail expired drug test. About half of hospitals in Kenya do not regularly remove expired or unusable medicines from their shelves. A new survey by the Health Ministry has shown the Kenya Harmonized Health Facility Assessment Report for 2018-2019 indicates that only 54% of health facilities, both public and private, have records processes in place to ensure disposal of expired or unusable drugs that pose risks to patients. Interesting. Of course, this is very appalling. You can follow the story on page 4 of the Business Daily this morning. Looking on the ticker there, British investors to build 80,000 low-cost houses. The government's bid for affordable housing has received a major boost after British investors inked a deal to develop 80,000 new units across the country. The story continues on page 5 of the Business Daily this morning. Today's digit is 37%. That is the share of expensive commercial loans in Kenya's debt load as at end of 2019. The story is tucked away on page 20 of the Business Daily. Addis, Kampala outshine Nairobi with foreign direct investment deals. Ethiopia and Uganda controlled more than half of foreign direct investments flows into Eastern Africa in 2019. A UN report suggests shining the spotlight on Nairobi's strategy to attract big tickets investors. And of course, also earlier we had also KPMG just revealing this is some details as well. And now this also is being buttressed by the UN report as well. You can follow the story on page 12 and 13 of the Business Daily. Investment in industrial sector below target. The amount of domestic and foreign investments in the industrial sector in the fiscal year ending last June fell below target by 151.7 billion shillings according to the Treasury. And the story continues on page 19 of the Business Daily. Let's cross borders now and head over to Tanzania, Uganda and Rwanda. But make sure also you read all about the strategy. This is teamwork that community projects require to succeed. That is on radar screen today in the Business Daily. This is how it looks today. Make sure you grab a copy for yourself. Also, we have this headlining story for you on the front page of the Citizen in Tanzania. My parting shot, that is what is on the front page of the Citizen in Tanzania. Outgoing World Bank Director Representative for Tanzania, Burundi, Malawi and Somalia, Ms. Bella Bard, shares her candid view of her 4-year tenure in Tanzania and what the country must do to get millions of its citizens from the cycle of poverty. There is a comprehensive interview here on page 2 and 3 of the Citizen this morning. And figures also are broken down for you there. 3.5 billion shillings. That is the amount of money Tanzania has received in grants and loans in the last 4 years alone from the Bretton Woods institution. And she says, I would like to see more progress made in business environment because business growth is critical to Tanzania realizing its potential in creating jobs and opportunities for the people. And also some of the projects approved for funding under Ms. Bard's watch as World Bank head are here: Darport upgrade, Ubungo flyover, water and sanitation, BRT project, amongst others. So for the rest of the details, page 2 and 3 is where you need to flip and read that particular story. Also, TANAPA finalizes cable car assessment report about 50,000 tourists climb Mount Kilimanjaro, I should say, annually. And the government said last year that it will push up arrivals by 50% by installing a cable car on Africa's highest peak, which will attract mostly elderly and disabled climbers. The story continues on page 4 of the Citizen in Tanzania. In Uganda, before we head there, also there's a bizarre diet people use to lose weight. Find all about this also inside the Citizen. In Uganda, we have the Daily Monitor, and this is the splash today. How Lumumba survived NRM mob at Naboole. Delegates Conference was ongoing. National Resistance Movement Party delegates besieged the Secretary General after President Museveni leaves the venue. They accuse Ms. Lumumba of pinching their allowances. The story continues on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Monitor in Uganda. Also, government sets strict rules for marijuana growing. APRA's Kalungu transfers 13 head teachers. And we have also a standalone picture here, produce food for money. Museveni tells farmers. And here is President Museveni introduces President of the Interparliamentary Union, Ms. Gabriela Baron, to former Tanzanian President Jakaya Kikwete during the National Resistance Movement's Liberation Day celebrations in Ibana district yesterday. Mr. Kikwete praised Mr. Museveni for his mentorship. On top there, Uganda teachers arrested in Kenya with 150 million shillings ivory. This is on page 3 of the Daily Monitor this morning. Also, make sure you grab a copy of Healthy Living. That is a pull-out magazine that is inside the Daily Monitor as well in Uganda. We head over now to... Let's head over now to Rwanda and pick up the New Times. REG to install smart meters after 19 billion shillings, 19 billion Rwandan francs, I should say, electricity theft. That is a splash today. Rwanda Energy Group loses about 19 billion Rwandan francs annually to power theft and grid inefficiency owing to dilapidated power lines and connections. The losses have had an impact on electricity tariffs as a utility company seeks to make a business case. The story continues on page 2 of the New Times. Multi-billion projects to control floods from volcanoes launched. Also, this story continues on page 12 of the New Times. We can see a standalone picture here. State Minister for Economic Planning. This is Claudine Uwera, Sports Minister Aurore Mimosa Munyanganju and Assumpta Uwamarirwa. The RPF Commissioner in charge of politics and mobilization and RPF Commissioner Francis Kaboneka during a cadetship training that brought together delegates from different sports disciplines in the country. The rest of the story continues on page 3 of the New Times in Rwanda. Also, make sure you grab a copy of the East African this week to get a regional outlook how we are performing inside UK's post-Brexit plot for Africa. Of course, this is doggedly following last week's meeting, the UK-Africa Summit scrambled for continent. 21 African leaders met in London as former colonial master seeks new trade ties after EU market exit. You have the full report on page 4 and 5 of the East African this week. Also, Waigoro responds to Karua at EA Court. Kirinyaga County Governor applies to join case filed by rival at the EACJ. Now, this is hanging our dirty lilies out of the country. The battle between Kirinyaga Governor Anne Mugbe Waigoro and her arch-rival NAC Kenya party leader Martha Karua has taken yet another turn after the governor made an application to be enjoined in an ongoing suit at the East African Court of Justice, EACJ. Ms. Waigoro has made an application to be enjoined as an interested party in the case where Ms. Karua has sued the Kenyan government, accusing it of having failed to uphold the rule of law in knowingly dispensing injustice to her by acknowledging that she was not at fault. Ms. Karua went to the EACJ after fighting all the way to Kenya's Supreme Court, but failing in a petition to have the 2017 election victory of Waigoro as governor nullified. Follow the story on page 3 of the East African. Will this make any discernible difference? Of course, we shall throw this to a panelist this morning to just also thrash that matter out as well. Kenya, Uganda in horse trading to host EACJ is another story you need to follow by Luke and Nami there. Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania are locked in a tussle over which country should host the East African Court of Justice, putting a strain on relations between the three founder members of the regional trading bloc. The court, currently located in Arusha, Tanzania, on a temporary basis, hears cases on violation of the rule of law, one of the fundamental principles set out in the East African Community Treaty. Follow the story on page 7 of the East African this week. This is how it looks while on age also, again, as new virus spreads, emerging in China, coronavirus fatalities are few but alarming. This is what the Outlook magazine is covering for you also today. Right, let me hark you back a bit to how the Daily Nation also looked way back. And this is the front page of the Daily Nation in 1961. This is how the Daily Nation looked, of course, with the Gutenberg technology. All-out war threat to free Lumumba is a splash today. Again, the Nation gets the exclusive Congo story. This was an exclusive story there, and that was a splash there. Also, Kano feud out in open. Right, this party feud just didn't begin today. The smoldering feud, which has been going on inside the hierarchy of Kano since the party's inception last year, burst into open flame yesterday when Vice President Oginga Odinga delivered a public denunciation of President James Gishoro and General Secretary Tom Mboya. Mr. Odinga accused Mr. Mboya of ruining Kano's plans for a 3-day general strike to secure the release of Jomo Kenyatta by announcing them prematurely. He added, this conduct of Mboya has led to the rift between African elected members. It is a practice which Mboya has been indulging in since 1956. This was the story then in 1961, and this is how the Daily Nation looked then. Only going for a song, 25 cents then. We've come a long way. Make sure you grab a copy of the Daily Nation today. This is how it looks. All right, my memory is gone there. I need to hold it a bit. This is how it looks today. Make sure you grab a copy for yourself. All right, let's see what our cartoonists have for us today. All right, let's see what has been drawn today by our cartoonist. We begin with what we have here. This is Ozone in the Star. Nobody can stop reggae. Wagwan Baba. This is, of course, following the rally in Mombasa, Tononoka. Nobody can stop reggae. Wagwan Baba. And you can see what a one. That is what Ozone has drawn for you today inside the Star. Let's see what we have also inside the Daily Nation today. According to IGA, the wild beasts, Kenya's increasing tourist attraction are here. Now it is the wild beast. We have also the locusts as well, and now the BBI invasion. And you can see the choppers are trooping everywhere right now, hovering over Kenya right now as we're having all these debates ongoing as far as BBI is concerned. This is what Iga has drawn for us today. Gado is up next. Let's see what he has drawn for us today inside the... whoever comes first. Let's pick up Stano. Stano is here. And Stano inside the People Daily. The handshake magic. Will it rest in peace? This graft we've been trying to fight and stanch the flow of corruption in the country. Tribalism, violence after elections. Right? Will this be the magical wand as far as BBI is concerned? That is another probing question there. And this is what Stano has drawn for you inside the People Daily. All right, let's see what Gado has for us this morning. And this is in the Standard today, and this is what Gado has drawn for you. We are all on board, right, are we? And you can see someone there tied on the rail there who looks like Arab Singh, right? And the BBI train is oncoming. So will it crush him? Of course, we've seen the differences as far as the BBI bandwagon is concerned. And this is what has been drawn today by Gado. I leave it for you to decipher that. Right, those are your editorial cartoons. Let's see what we have in the diary today. Our True North is up next. Today is Monday, the 27th of January 2020. In the diary today, Agriculture CS flags off agriculture project vehicles. This is from Kilimo House. Also, Kenya-Japan Forum is happening at the Itikon. And Babu Wino bail application ruling also is today. These are some of the stories that we'll be following for you from our newsroom today. All right, before we buckle down to our discussion with the panelists who are already here in studio, I want to hack you back 20 years back just to retrieve some of the stories that we did for you here on Nation Media Group, and this is one of them.
Remarks yesterday by Narok North Member of Parliament William Ole Ntimama has drawn angry reaction from two legislators who now claim Ntimama's utterances are a sequence to bloodshed in Narok district.
We are not, for heaven's sake, going to allow another genocide in this country, because if you read the might of the rights of Nasiru and Ole Ntimama and the rest, that is exactly what they are planning to do.
Tirikwa and his Kandara counterpart Joshua Toro say Ntimama is echoing what other warmongers in the government have echoed.
After the 1992 genocide, people went back, and the people are really prepared. Let Ole Ntimama or Otodo or anybody else not think that they are going to do it the way they did it in 1992. It is not going to happen.
Ole Ntimama has got no apologies to make for what he did in Enosopukia. He has no apologies to make. In actual fact, he's saying he can do it again.
This time they warn they will not take it lying low.
I am telling you as a matter of fact that today the Kikuyus who are known in 1992 are not the same. These people are armed.
While warning political tourists from interfering with Narok politics, Ntimama yesterday blamed a clique of rich people from Central Province to keep off the affairs of Narok or face the consequences.
We are very sensitive of any process which tends to marginalizers or to oppressors, because we have been victims of oppression from the colonial times to today. And any little process that we tend to oppressors, we definitely have to go to fight against it.
In 1992, Kikuyus living in Narok were evicted from what was said to be land catchment areas in Enosopukia. This led to clashes that saw 17 people killed. Betty Dindi in Nairobi for Nation Television.
From the archives there, that is, of course, William Ole Ntimama warning some of the politicians not to be embroiled in Narok politics. Right, let's buckle to our discussion this morning. There are the highlights of what we're going to be discussing today. BBI, the tier government. Is Kenya ready for an expanded government?
Juzi nimesikia mtu mwingine anasema ati yeye ndiye ati mimi nilitafuta yeye. Natafuta wewe kama nani wewe?
And who is fooling who? Raila denies he ever reached out to Ruto for a handshake. Of course, Kobe Bryant is a normal basketball great. Dies in helicopter accident in US. Now, political pronouncements took their place on the podium at the Mama Ngina Drive. Kenya must have a referendum, and this should be very soon. This was the resounding message by the leaders from opposing sides of the political divide as they likened the BBI to reggae because nobody can stop it, as the song goes.
Yote kimakini, and the referendum is inevitable, lazima ifanyike to implement these matters.
Yale tumependekeza watu wa pwani, ikiwa pamoja na kuwa na prime minister na deputy prime minister, lazima Kenya iende referendum.
Kama utaenda federal system, ni lazima kuwe na referendum, kura ya maoni.
Wako magavana 24, 24. Na kuenda njia ya referendum, tunahitaji county assembly ngapi? 24.
Ndani ya mwezi 7 tuwe na referendum.
Kenya will go for a referendum whether you like it or not.
Tukishamalizana na haya maneno ya katiba, hiyo BBI ningependa iwe chama cha kitaifa ambacho kitakuja kuongoza Jamhuri ya Kenya tukienda mbele.
There will be regional governments who are retaining the county governments.
funding allocated for the regional governments and county governments should take up 70% of the national revenue.
Hata sisi kule tunaunga mkono mambo ya regional government. Hiyo itasaidia watu wengi kuwa kwenye serikali kabisa.
We want to change this form of governance whereby we have a Ferrari government. A Ferrari government ni ile iko na dereva na conductor. Lakini we want to go to a matatu government, ile ambayo itabeba kila mtu.
Tukipanua serikali ili iwe na sura ya Kenya.
We need an executive prime minister because that is the position that is tried and tested all over the world.
Hii mambo ya opposite gender rule ianzie kule juu kwa president, kwa prime minister, kwa governor, kwa speaker, kwa majority leader na cheo zile zote ambao ziko.
The BBI Mombasa meeting left Mama Ngina Drive with louder echoes of referendum calls than political attacks. Deputy President William Ruto was still taking swipes at the man considered to be his bitter rival, ODM leader Raila Odinga. He accused the former Prime Minister and his allies of hijacking the BBI conversation to sell their political agenda. Listen in.
Mambo ya BBI ni ya kuunganisha wa Kenya. Tuwache kimbelembele. Tuwache fujo. Tuwache mambo ya kuzungushana na matusi. Katika haya mikutano isiwe ni yule alisema Kisii, ndiye anasema Kakamega, ndiye anasema Bungoma, ndiye anasema Mombasa. Ile NASA ilisambaratika. Nafikiri watapanga kitu ingine tena. Walikuwa na ingine ilikuwa inaitwa code. Walikuwa na ingine kwanza ilikuwa inaitwa NAC, wakakuja ingine inaitwa code. Sasa walikuja NASA juzi, sijui wataenda mtego hiyo mwaka ingine, sijui wataita nini.
Now, the relationship between the Deputy President William Ruto and ODM party leader Raila Odinga is one that has been of great public interest, especially with a growing and apparently resilient rift between the one's close allies. Interestingly, the DP, in his exclusive interview with NTV on Thursday, brought up a dynamic that many found very interesting. Just listen in.
Before, and I will repeat again. Even before the Honorable Raila reached out to Uhuru Kenyatta, he reached out to me.
And of course, we saw a rejoinder there from the Right Honorable Raila Odinga saying that he never reached out to Ruto. And a lot of questions we're asking as far as some of his statements that are actually tripping off his tongue. Are they true? We can see also what was on the Daily Nation or the Sunday Nation yesterday regarding the ICC. That is a cabal of people in government who they are particularly intent to make sure that actually it goes back to ICC. So we'll be responding to that with the panelists also momentarily. But here is their profiles this morning. Right. There we have guests, of course, their profiles. And we want also to just get a rejoinder from Raila Odinga as far as the allegation by the Deputy President is concerned.
Juzi nimesikia mtu mwingine anasema ati yeye ndiye ati mimi nilitafuta yeye. Natafuta wewe kama nani wewe? Wewe huko candidate? Candidate walikuwa wangapi? Nani na nani? Na nani? Kama mimi ningekuwa natafuta mtu, mimi ningetafuta Uhuru peke yake.
Right, we want to continue with the conversation apace with our panelists. Of course, you saw them, they're here with us. Let's just begin with Herman Manyora. Looking at the developments that we had over the weekend from Mombasa, and now also sort of a PG meeting in Naivasha, which was happening last night. And Gladys Cholet, you're fresh off from that particular meeting as well.
4:15 to be honest.
Sorry?
I left Naivasha at 4:15 to be here.
4:15?
Yes.
What time did you wake up?
Medal.
I should. That is the sort of commitment we're looking for. Yeah? Yeah, Alice was in the same forum, but she couldn't make it today. But good to see you, right? But let's just get our true north and our bearing from Herman Manyora before we continue the conversation.
You see, nobody can stop reggae, you know? And then there is an attempt to see how either to stop it or to slow it down, and I think that's what was happening in Naivasha. The Naivasha team wants to stop reggae, or to slow it, or to spoil the pace, and Mombasa says no, reggae must continue and you can't stop it. But basically from Kakamega I could read the situation, yes, and I said it. From Kakamega it became evident, Debarl.
Kakamega.
From Kach, Buhungu Stadium, Buhungu, not Bukungu, Buhungu yes. Stadium. It became clear that this BBI animal is going to sweep everybody. That if you are not with this BBI thing, you'll get out of politics. And there will be regions where really, like Western, that was in Western Mlembe Nation, where if you are not there and nobody you could see, yes, you could become irrelevant. And that explains why the likes of Kalwale and the Washali and Didmas, if they do not smell the coffee, it's getting late, but it's still there in the kitchen. You know, perforating, boop, boop, boop. If they do not get onto the reggae bus, there will be problems. Others are trying to scheme. I've said the Tanga wing, Gladys Chalet is here. She can take the message. It's too early. They are still sleeping. You see, you will not stop this reggae. And there's nothing wrong with this reggae. And I thought that's what you people had realized. But since now you are still going to Naivasha, it seems you are still playing games. Ruto.
Why are they playing games and you are not even privy to what they were discussing?
But I know. We are intelligent enough to read things. Now, that's why we are here. Why do you call us here? Because you know we can read situations.
No, we are not here to read things. We are here to give facts.
No, which facts?
So
it's not a classroom.
Not to have innuendos.
This is not a classroom where we give facts and
no. We need to be factual.
This is a political talk show.
But yeah, predicated on facts, not hearsay.
It is a fact.
Okay, let
that they were in Naivasha.
Yes.
It is a fact. They have been saying things about BBI. You see what I'm saying? There is nothing wrong with what BBI will bring, because in fact, according to me, DP William Ruto stands to gain much more than the handshake team with an expanded executive. Because then he will have a DP position to give, a prime minister position to give, whichever he chooses. There will be the two deputies, and you add on these others. Hey man, it's good for him. So don't stop reggae. Just join and dance. Do your best.
Okay.
Put your best foot forward, Gladys.
Which part of the orchestra will you be playing of the reggae bandwagon?
Let them finish. I'll be the last person to speak for this one.
Well, we live in very interesting times because I am one of those people who are watching, as Murkomen was saying, Baba in Mombasa. And I could not believe that was really Murkomen. But you know, remember when we were here last, Gladys Cholet told us BBI is illegal. They were going to go to court and create a nullity. But you can see the song has changed. Why? Because I think they have seen, as Manyora said, this wave of BBI is not stoppable, is unstoppable. And I think the only thing the only option for our friends in Tanga Jubilee, because the Kieleweke team is fully in BBI. So for Tanga team, they have really no choice other than to join. It's unfortunate for them that they have really taken too long, and they are joining a bus that is almost already full. But let them cling to the bus, maybe they'll get space in there. But going forward, you know, you can see that the brigade that is against this BBI,
yes,
day by day, they are dwindling in numbers. You know, if you watch the proceedings in the Senate, and I'm just talking about what I saw on the floor.
Yes.
You can imagine we have reached a situation where Murkomen cannot marshal numbers in the Senate to push through a motion from the Jubilee side. Is the majority. Yesterday I read, she will tell us more about what is happening in Naivasha, but I read a number of MPs, including Arama from Nakuru, Wambugu from Nyeri, and they were categorical. They were telling the people in Naivasha that we will not be attending that meeting. The Secretary General, Raphael Tuju,
yes,
issued a statement and said, we don't know what is going on in Naivasha, but I can assure you that is not a PG for Jubilee. So I think the signs are there on the wall for DP Ruto to see. If he continues this game of trying to be a lone ranger while the country is moving forward, he will find himself alone. But as usual, when we say these things, people deny. Last time I said, I've seen Ruto sporting a goatee. Sholei told us I was with him yesterday.
I said I didn't
there was no
it,
beard.
I don't look at his face.
Now it is even there on the newspaper. So you know this is a problem we have with this Tanga team. It's something Debarl that is black.
So let me finish. What's on your face again? That's not my job. I listen to what DP Ruto says. I don't look at his face. So if he's admiring Ruto's face, that is his problem.
All right. So now this is going off on a tangent. Just a moment.
See the problems we have from this side of Jubilee. They want to deny even something that is black and tell you this is white. Even now when they are saying that the country is moving forward, BBI is unstoppable, they will still tell you. I think Ruto was saying, if you read the Standard on Sunday, he says BBI is unnecessary. I mean, unless you don't live in this country. So I think my appeal to my good friend Gladys Boy-Sholei,
why do you keep addressing me on the show?
Join the bus. When you go back to Naivasha, please tell your friends, let them join the bus. Otherwise, they'll be left at the bus stop.
Okay. All right. So we have a very interesting editorial cartoon.
He comes to the show to talk to me. He's my friend. He can talk to me outside the show.
He's speaking up on where I actually left.
Go on.
Yeah, you just wanted to verify maybe on the goatee that you certainly denied that the deputy president. You didn't see it.
Yes, I'll be staring at the DP next time.
Right, we have a very interesting editorial cartoon also in the Standard today. We are all on board, and you can see just across there. There you go. We have the deputy president rights tied. That is Arab Singh tied on the railway, and the BBI train is oncoming. But he says we're all on board. I leave it for you now to decipher. Let's hear from Samuel Pogiso. Good morning. Good to see you. Happy New Year. I haven't seen you this year.
Happy New Year.
Maybe it's also from Naivasha.
It's also
easy.
The PG.
No, I didn't see him there. Yeah? I can confirm.
Yeah, I can see his eyes is smarting at least. He's not had some sleep.
I'm just enjoying this this morning, especially the good greeting between the two lawyers who are here.
He always does that to me.
But I think, first of all, by the way, if you just allow me to congratulate also the new Bishop of AIC, Abraham Mulwa. There will be a number of changes. People are growing old in the churches, and changes will happen.
That's where you church?
The AIC.
You fellowship there?
Oh, I fellowship everywhere.
Everywhere?
Yes. And that's one of the places. But let me just say what really needs to be sorted out, I think, for BBI is people are afraid not of the BBI, but of the BBI rallies. And I don't know why the confrontation of the BBI rallies. I think the people are more afraid of the BBI rallies. What is it doing? The so-called Tanga team would be afraid of the BBI rallies. Why? Because they have their own rallies weekly. And I think that the BBI rallies tend to weaken the rallies that are there planned for every week. And I think that it takes out, and I think this you can. I think the BBI rallies have come to challenge the flow of the Tanga rallies, and I think that's probably what causes the jitters in the BBI. BBI by itself, nobody can argue about BBI. In fact, we're all in it. In fact, this cartoon, I think, like Omogani has said, reflects the fact that there's no need at all to try and block BBI. There's no need at all. I think everybody should be on the boat. I think everybody should come out openly, and we move together. This is actually a no-brainer. Nobody is trying to stop anybody in the BBI manifesto, in the BBI report. Yes. But I think what's causing the jitters is just the fact that there's a team in town or in this country that has gone out to have rallies. And so what do you do with the rallies? I think we should stop all other activities and just focus on BBI. The faster we finish with BBI, the sooner we will have the referendum and so on. And we can actually finish up this program of BBI. Right. So I do not see why any of these reflections should even try and divide us. Right. I think that the Deputy President has said in his own way that he is supporting BBI. Sometimes, of course, it is easy to see what he is doing than to hear what he is saying. Because if Naivasha, and I don't know what Naivasha is about, if Naivasha is what the papers are reporting, then something else has to be, that they are trying to revert back. You know what they're saying here is that you're trying to get back to another draft document, preferring to go to...
So you were not in Naivasha yourself?
No, I wasn't in Naivasha.
Okay.
But, and I don't belong in the divisions. So you... Whether Tanga or Kieleweke. But...
So where do you belong?
My party.
Which is split?
Kanu.
Yes. Oh, you Kanu.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I almost. I forgot. Okay. Yeah. But I think Kanu was not really collapsed into Jubilee.
No.
Kanu
cannot be.
It's
not allowed to be collapsed.
It still stands. Yeah. Let's hear from Richard Onyonka. Then we come to Gladys to give us information right from Naivasha.
Thank you, Debarl. For me, I first of all actually agree with what my senior Honorable Pukisho has said. And number two, after attending the Kisii rally and listening to the stuff that was thrown at it, then we go to Kakamega, an incredibly fascinating experience. For me, that is actually when, I think you saw, we came up as Ford Kenya and made a decision that we are actually going to be part of this because we couldn't stop it. And on top of that, what the BBI is talking about are issues which affect our people. And these are things which can be discussed at another time. But if you look at what the Tanga team is doing, I think they are re-strategizing. If I was sitting in that meeting, I would most probably say, yes, some of us went to Mombasa. What happened? How did it come out? Number two, those who didn't go also had their rally in Mumias. They would also be looking at what actually happened from that rally. In general terms, like Senator Pogisho has said, you don't know what the Deputy President says and what he does. So in reality, even when Mombasa was actually really a very good function, which I think for me, I was going to give Jubilee, I was going to give Tanga a lot of credit. They came out with dignity. If you were there, you would have felt it. There are things you feel when you're in a rally. There was initially that feeling of these people should not be allowed here. They have been saying all sorts of things. They've been against BBI. But there was a decision made by Prime Minister Raila and even the governors who were there. They said, no, sometimes we may disagree. Let this team just come on board. And of course, you saw Joho and Kingi just saying, please let us not come here and start screaming at each other, because then the implications would have become either way. For me, I thought Tanga coming, Murkomen coming and speaking, even when you may have said Baba and all those things, I think it showed that politicians in Kenya, if they actually wanted we could be friendly with each other and still disagree. That for me is something that we need to begin to look at as a people.
Thank you.
That Murkomen came, a lot of people expected fire or people to even throw things at him or fight him or scream at him. And he spoke with dignity and he made his case. And other leaders there spoke and they left.
So this is diametrically different from what you expected actually from the forum?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, to me, when I was listening the night before when I'd arrived in Mombasa and the morning when the plans were taking place, there were those who were like, we can't allow these people to come in. And there was those who were saying, no, these are our brothers. We may disagree with them. We are having these issues. Let us just allow them to.
But in terms of who was to appear on the podium, was there any vetting or
no,
there any restriction?
It was messy. It was really messy. The Mombasa function was totally messy. We didn't have, I didn't have a place to stand. The podium was small. But again, it is because they changed from Tononoka to Mama Ngina Drive.
To Mama Ngina,
yeah,
okay,
the logistics in 8 hours, I don't think they would have managed to.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that is really, but in terms of who was to speak and when they were to speak, there were people who felt this was looking like an ODM function. But again, Kalonzo came, again, Wetangula was there, the other parties was there. Yeah.
Right. Let's see from Gladys. So Gladys, you are not in Mombasa, were you?
No, I was not in Mombasa because I had 3 functions in Uasin Gishu that I had to attend to.
Okay.
Okay, first let me make this clear once and for all, okay? That I was against the BBI and process and considered it an illegality insofar as it was going to manufacture a referendum in itself without using the law. So that's one. Number 2, let me also, then when the report came out, we discovered it was a nothing document. It was a document of the Book of Lamentations of everything that we know in Kenya is wrong. That needs solutions. That's why we agreed with it, because we said we agree with the problems that it raises. And so, can we also confirm it once and for all in this show that my like-minded MPs support the BBI report as developed and presented and launched at the Bomas. Number 3, let me explain this again, and please write it down so that you don't repeat it again. The group that is meeting in Naivasha is not the Tanga team, as you call it. This is a group of 200 like-minded MPs. And yes, by last night, we had 167. The others were still going to arrive this morning or later last night. So these are like-minded MPs. We have MPs, and you'll see them today in the press conference, which will be taking place at around midday today. And you'll see, Mheshimiwa Nyonka, they are from your area, some of them. You will see that some of them are from Honorable Pogisho's area. You'll see that some of them are from Manyora's area. So these are not MPs from Jubilee or from ODM or from whichever party. These are like-minded MPs. And this is how we decided to think through this process. We said to ourselves, the way the BBI phase 2 is going, we found that we have no problem with BBI 1 as is, because it is the things we know is wrong with Kenya. We know there is unemployment. We know there is insecurity. We know the economy is doing bad. We're not going to argue with that. But we then asked ourselves, when this report came out, we were told to go to phase 2. When we went to phase 2, look at what happened in Bukhungu. And I pronounced it correctly, right?
Yeah, correct. That's good.
Yes. And then, after that, look at what happened in Mombasa. It's about uniforms. It's about song and dance. It's about rally calls. Referendum or no referendum. BBI, Kenya Moja. Those are rallying calls. Those are not solutions to the problems that bedevil our country. And then, if it's also about political might, it is not about issues. In fact, I must thank Governor Kingi, because his presentation in Mombasa is the only one that talked about the issues of the people of Pwani. He looked at the absentee landlord issue, historical injustice over land, the title issuance, the challenges that they have, the poverty, the fact that they have no stake and or do not benefit from the tourism and benefit from the port. That was very good work. That is now about the people. But everything else that happened there was about political might. What has a statement like saying, nani alitafuta yeye? What was that to do with wananchi? If it is a wananchi process to receive the views of the wananchi, are you going there to show off who is mightier than the other? When you hear words like, we don't want a Ferrari government, we want to change this country. When you hear words like, we women, we want to be at the top, that means if there is prime ministers, women must be there. Or we want an executive prime minister. When you hear words like, so what was happening, then another person says, we want BBI iwe chama tuongoza Kenya. That means we are going back to a single party dictatorship. So when you look at what happened in both Buhungu and in Mombasa, they are talking at our people. They are not listening to our people. So don't lie to Kenyans that you are going there to listen to people or to seek views or to educate them about BBI.
Thank you.
Now let me finish. So because of that reason,
we need to take a short break, Gladys. Just finish briefly,
Yes.
then we take a short break.
yes, when you talk about inclusive seats and you talk about 9 slots,
Yes.
then what happens to the other 32 communities in Kenya? Therefore, we decided as the like-minded MPs that we are going to begin to formulate a way that we'll engage in this BBI process, participate in it, educate our people about it, to ensure that it is people-centered,
Thank you.
that the views of our people are represented in it.
Right, thank you. We need to take a short break, but just to ask you, and we'll be marinating on this before we take a short break, who really mooted this meeting in Naivasha? Because it seems it came, at the last minute. People are still trickling in, even as far as yesterday in the evening as well. So was it something that was planned, or is a counter to something that maybe
It's very typical of how things operate in Parliament. In Parliament, we have different caucuses. So you might find that within one caucus, someone moots it and we agree. Then you talk to somebody else, another caucus, and they moot it to the others and they agree.
Right.
Then slowly the formation begins.
Thank you. Right, we want to take a short break. When we circle back, of course, we continue with more on the conversation here on AM Live. You're watching AM Live. Hit us on Twitter. AM Live NTV is a Twitter handle. AM Live NTV is a profile name on Facebook, and 20686 our SMS portal. Don't go away.
Kupika kila mtu ajipikie yake. Na vyombo za nani? Kwa nani?
Am I not getting some? Ice cream ya wageni. Wewe nitakuletea maji kwa jikoni.
A girl's gotta eat to keep up with you, Mr. Guns.
Well, that's absolutely correct.
This festive season, get a decoder with subscription at an unbelievable festive offer of only 1,499 shillings. You can also pay 1 month and enjoy 2 weeks free on a higher bouquet. For more information, call 0719 077 077.
Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Did you know? You can enjoy world-class service from our close to 40,000 dedicated employees across the globe. Absa, operating as Barclays in Kenya.
Welcome to our big family. You see, in this family, we have fun together and we look out for each other because we care. We share whatever we have. We protect and support each other. Welcome home, where we love and care for each other. We're so excited that you're joining us.
Welcome to the new member of our Nivea family. New Nivea Petroleum Jelly Essence, enriched with glycerin for long-lasting moisture and protection.
I've been on the forefront for evading corruption.
And that's a good place to begin. A lot of this corruption happens because private sector and government are in bed together.
We've had this talk many times.
How drastic should the measures be taken? Because we can't keep on talking.
We don't see any action. The president has the ability to actually fire people.
I like to ask a direct question for direct answers. The heart of humanity, how do you still have it when you're such a hardened soldier?
This is not about you, it's not about your life. It's about the country that I serve.
This is where the real conversation happens.
holding court with Gladys Bose, and also we do have with us as well Richard Onyonka, Samuel Pogisio. We have also with us Okongo Mogeni and Haman Manyora. We continue with the conversation apace. This is all about the happenings over the weekend as far as the BBI is concerned. Also many pronouncements were made in Mombasa, one of which is a three-tier government. What does it portend for the country? Are we ready as a country also for this expanded government? That is a question that we will be asking our panelists as well. But we want to hear what was the rhyme and reason for having this particular meeting in Naivasha, where we know that this is sort of a PG meeting, and this is not presided over by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Of course, you have every right. Let's hear from Richard Onyonka.
But you know, I'm outnumbered, so you should have given me more time. I hope you'll give me more time.
Why are you outnumbered?
I'm outnumbered because everyone was questioning me about Naivasha.
About Naivasha?
Yeah, so you'll give me a second bite at it.
Of course I will.
Okay.
But we need to go sequentially. Let's just go back to Haman Manyora. Richard Onyonka, just hold on to your thoughts.
You see, I want to repeat here that nobody can stop reggae. It's about BBI moving. I said there were people in Kakamega who didn't smell the coffee, even as it was seriously percolating in the kitchen. Now, there's another team that is not smelling the percolating coffee. This is the people in Naivasha. What Raila is doing has taken reggae to the people. And the people are dancing reggae. And they will dance all the way to the referendum vote. You see, in other words, the way BBI is being played, and they are playing catch up and they are doing it wrongly, Gladys Bose-Chalet, is that Raila and his team and Uhuru have succeeded to take this thing to the people. That's why these rallies are happening in the manner they are happening. It is about now engaging the people, and the people are now almost fully engaged, and they are dancing reggae.
But what is the mode of engagement?
The way they have done it. This is politics. So these other guys are trying to create order, and I've said it here. Oh, let us be systematic. Let us solve the issues. Let us isolate. Politics is never played like that anywhere in the world. Politics is a game that has its own rules.
I tend to wonder, what is the mode of engagement?
Rule number one, there will be no rules.
Engagement, you come to a rally, then I attend, then you've engaged me?
Pardon?
Is engagement, you coming to a rally, then once like now we have people,
they are
then
not
you talk
talking
to us.
To people. The issues Amason Kingi was raising are issues that had been canvassed by 3,000 delegates before. In Kakamega rally at Buhungu, a meeting had been held in Bungoma of delegates before. And the things being presented in Kakamega to Wako on behalf of BBI were things that the people Western Province or Mulembe Nation felt strongly about. And the same applies to what Kingi was presenting in that rally. Those are issues that had been canvassed and discussed by people of the coast.
So those are
but what I'm saying, the issues are not even important now. What is important is the politics. And this is the percolating coffee which people are not smelling.
Thank you.
And that's what I'm saying. Gladys Bose and the people in Naivasha are chasing the wrong horse. The other horse is going, and the people are on the horse, and they are dancing, and they are happy, and they are waiting only for the referendum.
Thank you.
To pass it.
Right, thank you. Let's Okongo Mogeni, your response?
Yeah, first, you know, when you are a leader, it's not good to mislead your followers. Because I've just heard from Gladys Bose-Chalet that there are leaders from Kisii who are in Naivasha to discuss about the future maybe of the Kisii region, I don't know.
It's not yet, the future of Kisii region.
Or the country.
The manner of engagement. In the BBI
now,
process.
You can imagine, Debarl, that we had a meeting in Kisii where all leaders from that region were in attendance, including our CS Matiang'i. And then you tell these elected leaders that don't attend that meeting and air your views. And mark you that meeting in Kisii, we had stakeholders engaging a day before we had the rally, who were giving their views. And as their representative, you should be there to champion issues that affect the Kisiis. Now you want to say that you as William Samoei Ruto, you want to convince the leaders from Kisii region not to attend such an important engagement, then you take them to Naivasha, where the people you represent are not even in attendance. And you misleading your followers. Because what I expected from Jubilee is to do what I saw in Mombasa. Go to where the discussions are taking place, air your views, and fight for your alternative view to be put on the table. That's what engagement is all about. Now, even if you go to Naivasha and you say you have marshaled, I don't know, you say 200 people, how are you going to make sure that that what you discuss in Naivasha will find its way to BBI. My thought would have been that instead of trying to do what is happening, I think Naivasha is basically a counter to what is happening, the move by the president and the Prime Minister Raila Odinga to push forward BBI. Some team wants to scuttle that effort in Naivasha. And what is taking place in Naivasha is not about BBI. Take it from me. That is just politics. Somebody wants to make sure that they scuttle the efforts by the president to unite this country, to push forward BBI. And that takes me back to the behavior you see from our friends in Tanga. It's good you come out clearly and say, I'm going to be on the side that will be no on this BBI. But during the day, you want to tell the country that, we have no problem with BBI. We are behind BBI. But at night, you go to Naivasha to hold meetings, trying to strategize how you are going to, scuttle this BBI effort. My plea to the Deputy President, let him read the mood in the country. The mood in the country is that BBI is a good thing. BBI has some solutions to the problems that we have been facing. BBI wants to fight corruption. BBI wants to have an inclusive government for everybody in this country. Why should you oppose such an initiative?
Right. Maybe also just to get clarity, Richard Onyonka, you can also chime on this. Is what the Standard reporting this morning as a side, but there are fallout in Jubilee over BBI retreat in Naivasha. Gladys, you've said that all of you are in one piece as it is right now.
Jubilee.
Just a moment. Allies, not necessarily Jubilee.
Yes.
So this is not a Jubilee.
It's not a Jubilee
PG as the way it was being put.
It's mixed completely.
It's mixed.
Yes.
Okay.
Debarl.
All right.
I was going to raise an issue earlier before I forget.
Please.
Okongo Mogeni has told Her Excellency, Gladys, those meetings, when we met the delegates, people sit down, people talk, and people bring out the issues which they are feeling are critical and important to that place where the meeting is, or the community, or the county, and it has been very democratic. Actually, for many of us, and I'm sure my brother Okongo will agree, when the people go to the rallies, we laugh it off. That we are having fun.
Okay.
It has really nothing to do with what the BBI is.
You must realize something. It is not my place. Neither will I do it or criticize the manner in which you conducted Kisii, because your Kisii leaders.
No.
It is yourself.
Let me finish.
It's for you to do what you want to do there.
Let me finish.
What we are saying
Gladys,
is that we are meeting.
Let him finish, then we'll come to you.
Okay.
We'll come to you.
What I'm saying, Madam Gladys, Honorable, is this. That is exactly what I saw in Kakamega, and that is what I saw in Mombasa. So if somebody is, in fact, I now think, from what you're saying, the meeting that is being held in Naivasha is to figure out what to do next. No. Because those meetings are devastating. Number two, go to page 10 of the Standard. Moses Kuria says, down there, paragraph down there on official position, he says this is a PG. All right? Then you come up with him continuing to say that we are trying to look at what is going to happen. That's paragraph number 4. You go down. Until there's a place where my brother Didmas Baraza says, this meeting is actually there for us to check the strength of Deputy President in Parliament and at the Senate. As a politician, why would you want to check the strength? Are you going to impeach somebody? Are you going to bring out issues in Parliament? Or are you able to fight the BBI when it arrives in Parliament? What is the reason why you are meeting? So in reality, for me, the way I look at it as a politician, the teams of Jubilee were meeting, yes. Some members of Jubilee, others, it's a long story. Some of the members who are in Kieleweke have said, to hell with it, we cannot go for that meeting. We are not interested in that. And my honest observation is, anybody knows. And the good thing is that man has been in Parliament longer than me, I think, most probably. And all of you have watched what has happened in Kenya. Leader Pogisho, the number of members of Parliament who come back to the House every 5 years are only
70% attrition rate.
Exactly. So you are taking people who may not even come back They are the ones you're going to consult on what you want to do. Go and talk to the people, hold meetings with the people.
All right, just, you see Debarl.
No, I think
Debarl, and that's why I would like
just
you
a moment.
to change
I think it's Pogiso something to
No,
come.
it won't work, Debarl, because the reason why he has misconstrued what I said is because you ended up going to a commercial break after all of them had spoken, and I didn't get an opportunity to complete what I was saying. Therefore, they've misconstrued out of context what I was explaining about what's happening in Naivasha.
Right, but Gladys, you elected actually to speak after everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you did, let's just go sequentially. Then I'll give you a well of time to actually explain this.
But they're commenting on incomplete information.
All right, then you'll rectify that when you get to chance.
So they shouldn't comment on what I've said.
All right,
and you also
just
shouldn't comment on what we say until we finish.
All right. Let's hear from Pogiso. Just a moment, Richard.
Yeah.
Pogiso.
Gladys is assisting you in your job of presiding over this thing.
Which I'm glad.
So she can gladly be your assistant. Debarl, the situation that we are in, we must first of all come to terms with who are the authors of BBI. And there are only two people who author BBI. And when those two people have a direction that they would like for people to understand,
yes.
The rallies are supposed to espouse that, which direction we are moving. Number two, I think Gladys, we can comment on what you said, because Gladys has given some information.
I gave a background.
It's okay, that background.
I said the resolution of why we are meeting. I've not even told you the reason why we are meeting.
Yeah, we don't respond to everything, Gladys. Okay. This is what I'm saying. Gladys has given us the fact that they agree with BBI report as presented at Bomas. That is the end of the agreement. And so what happens is that something else comes after Bomas and it is agitating, because nobody knows what will come out of BBI 2. And I think your team, whatever group, is like-minded people, which can also be Tanga because they are like-minded. Also jumping the gun, because you don't know the outcome of this thing which is going to come. I believe that we have a situation now where something else could come out of or improve BBI 1. And that is what is agitating this group. Because they would like to see BBI report as presented in Naivasha as being final. But nobody can guarantee that. I think the team has been reappointed, a team of experts has been reappointed, and a product of that is going to be gotten from the people themselves, the regions. So something will come out of this thing which is bigger and more improved probably than BBI 1. And that is what is agitating the team that is in Naivasha. So the Naivasha team wants to do something else that they might not like.
But going by the pronouncements we've had from Mama Ngina Drive as it is right now, with the extension of, having the regional government as well, right?
Yes.
Why would they not be concerned about the extension of government, even looking at what we have still as a side story where Mudama claims that BBI is to extend the term limit, right? Just hold on to that. We'll hear from Gladys, then we'll come back and then just marinate over that as well.
I only set the background of what had transpired that caused us to meet. That's where I'd reached in my explanation. Now, based on that, we said to ourselves, everywhere we go, and even as far as Friday and Saturday and yesterday when I was in Wasingishu, people are asking what is in the BBI report.
Yes.
Where people are asking, can you bring us the report? Can you come and explain to us? Does it have the view, our concerns that we are concerned about? So what we have said is we need to sit down and decide how to engage our people, just the way you engaged your people. How to engage our people, how the structure of that involvement, the manner in which we can seek views from our people, so that by the time the rally comes to our region, each of our regions, we are able to have already got our people, the way you did, have delegates and be able to give their memorandums and prepare them for presentation at the time the BBI team comes in. And the manner in which we can ensure that the views of the people that we represent make it to the team of experts. So, and that's what I'm saying, I hadn't reached the point of telling you that. So, but then again, to decide the most efficient. Yes. So what I was saying is, we need to, because remember, like I said, when you looked at Bukungu and Mombasa, then you started asking yourself, what's happening here? Our most important thing to do is to ensure that our people are represented, that the BBI process is people-centered, that the concerns of our people find its way to BBI, like the people of Wasingishu are asking. If BBI does not have solutions for their challenges with maize, There are challenges with their milk prices, the unemployment of their youth, the harassment of border by police, the fact that they've closed the forest and there's no alternative energy being provided, the fact that people are unable to pay their medical bills, the fact that people cannot be able to pay school fees, that a third of the children were at home because they haven't paid school fees. Even as late as this weekend, there were children who have not gone to school, parents who can't even afford school uniform, even when we give them bursaries. So those people are concerned with those small issues. They are not concerned. So if you came to Uasin Gishu and start dancing, I think people will walk away. People want the opportunity, only the people of Uasin Gishu, to speak and say their views. So what we want to do is prepare them so that they are ready. But we also have to agree on a structured mode of engagement. And sometimes it's good when you meet as a team and say, this is the methodology. Because also the time is very short, you can't just do it haphazardly. The issue is, you may have known, because probably you were in on it in advance, you know, by being ODM or whatever, we want, you know. So, yes, and we have every right and the freedom to decide the manner in which I analyze the BBI and the manner in which I disseminate it to my people. That is my prerogative. Nobody can tell me you have to do it your method or that method.
Correct.
Yes, and even when you went to Mombasa, the manner you did the BBI rally in Mombasa, believe me, is not the same way you will do the BBI rally in Uasin Gishu. That I can tell you. So what we have to do as leaders, ensure that our people's voices, that is paramount. The voice of the people of Uasin Gishu will be heard when that rally comes to Uasin Gishu on the 16th of February. And also, the issues of the people of Uasin Gishu will be in a memorandum and presented and make its way, so that if there is a BBI report too, which I'm not afraid of, by the way, Senator Pogisho, we are not. None of us are afraid of it. How can you be afraid of something you have not seen? You understand? But we know that we can influence it if we give our views. So if there's nothing wrong with us sitting to structure, that's the way you sat. And that's why when you sat as your leaders in Kisii, Honorable Onyonka, we didn't begrudge you that. Neither did we judge it. Because that is what you must do for the people who elected you. The same way, Senator Mogeni must do what the people he elected are asking him to do. But, of course, I like what Sanyamanyora said, is that this is politics, you know, and so on, and there is, you know, reggae cannot be stopped or whatever. But that is for other people, you can tell. Believe me, you can't make that statement that reggae cannot be stopped in Uasin Gishu. People will ask, what does reggae mean? We are talking about our maize, we are talking about our economy, we are talking about, they want real issues. So don't come and, you know, you can't play with words in Uasin Gishu, the way you can play with words in other places. So we will control when it comes to Uasin Gishu. Hence the reason why we are meeting, so that we ensure that our people are well prepared for this BBI, and that our views will make its way to whatever BBI 2 will be there. But we need a structured form of engagement. And we are not trying in any way to scuttle the BBI effort. I don't know how many times we are going to say that we support the BBI for people to believe us. I know I was opposed to it, but when I found it was a nothing document, I had nothing objectionable about it, I said I will support it. Yes. Right, so please don't repeat on this show again, or Mogeni, that I'm against BBI. When I read it, I decided there's nothing to be against.
Okay, I hope Debarl, you have captured that one now.
Yes. So you don't. Nobody will repeat that on this show.
All right.
Forever hold
just lean back. Just lean back. Yeah, let's hear from Herman. So you need to stop the reggae song here.
What Glad is not telling you is that since they have been denied a PG by President Uhuru and any party meeting, this is a PG through the back door at Naivasha. They have only roped in a few sprinkling of non-jubilee to kind of make us think we cannot see through.
A head fake.
Yeah,
so that we don't believe.
This is
he's a mind reader. He can read my mind.
A jubilee PG through the back door or through the window, but it will serve no purpose. The reason is simple. One, if this thing is going to the people, it will be through popular initiative, meaning Parliament has no role in it. So if you are trying to marshal numbers to stop it, you are wasting your time. Secondly, if you are trying to meet so that you can organize parallel meetings or rallies, you are again wasting your time. Because one, the meetings have been scheduled to go somewhere towards the mid or somewhere there in February, and that will be the end of it. In the meantime, you are unlikely to come up with meetings to conflict with the meetings already planned. You see? Thirdly, Gladys Chalet, on behalf of your people, the president has already appointed or negotiated with people to head BBI meetings across Kenya. In your area, there is governor, is it called Tolgos? You will have to listen to what he's saying. That man is representing Uhuru Muigai. Listen. In matters BBI meetings, Governor Tolgos is representing President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, CGH, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of those other defense forces of Kenya. Now, so you will sit down and listen to him. He will chair the Usingishu caucus. You will come up with your issues. Nobody will refuse.
It's a regional.
Okay,
your
let me
issues.
just explain to you
Now,
the truth on the ground.
Let me finish. Let him finish. Your issues from Usingishu, which by the way is 1 out of 47, your issues will be considered alongside others from other counties. You get it? And you are 1 out of 47. So by the time these meetings come to an end, and you are not going to have yours to kind of conflict with this one, by the time they come to an end in February, before you know what is happening, there's already a bill, my friend, and people are dancing reggae.
I love you. 1 second.
And people are voting. You see, so the meeting in Naivasha is a waste of time, if you ask me. A better thing to do on the part of the Jubilee wing of Tangatanga will be to see how can we benefit from within BBI. How can we push so that nothing bad, really harmful comes out of this BBI? How can we engage from within? And much more importantly, secondly, Tangatanga people,
thank you,
is that begin to plan how you are benefiting from the product of BBI. DP Ruto should begin looking at Omogen in Kisii. If I get Omogen from Kisii as deputy premier, I have counted Matiangi. If I get Pogisho from wherever he comes from, I have counted somebody else. That kind of stuff.
Thank you, Aman.
Not to fight it.
Okongo Morgan will come to you, Richard.
Yeah. Major problem is we don't know who speaks for Jubilee. Because in Mombasa, what I saw from Murkomen is a statement that we are now heading to the referendum. Today, from the show, I'm hearing that people now want to give memorandums, people should talk. So there's a lot of confusion in this Tangatanga team. And I think, as I said, it will be easier for them to read the signs and join the BBI process instead of trying to, in desperation, come up with solutions that will take us nowhere in terms of taking forward BBI. Number two, you know, at times you can cause a lot of problems to yourself, just the way you handle things. If you call people to Naivasha to speak about the way I've heard from Gladys, about how you are going to solve the economic problems people are facing, you are saying people are going to school, they have no money, they have no uniform, and you are the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who should actually be telling us that my party in Jubilee has made it possible for people to go to school. We promised free education, people have food on the table, our economy is performing. You are in Naivasha saying, oh, this government is not performing, the economy is not working, and you are number 2 in command, and you want to be handed over the baton. I think this is the Tower of Babel. There is confusion just to destroy you. I mean, and you are coming here in the studio to tell the people of Kenya who are watching that we are in Naivasha to discuss how the country has sunk. Debarl. Where is this country? Where is this country heading to? That should actually be coming from us, OTM, in the opposition. I mean, I just need to go to Kisii and tell people you cannot hand over the government to Ruto. He has gone to Naivasha and told us nothing is functioning. He has even retreated to Naivasha away from the president to discuss how the country is sinking. Badly. My goodness, I don't know who can advise my good friend William Ruto.
I think it's unfair for something to be said that is true on the show and we allowed it.
No, just a moment.
The deputy president is not in
Let him finish. Just Gladys, let him finish.
The deputy president is not in Naivasha.
You will get your chance. Yes. Just a moment.
That's a lie.
Yeah, so in
that language also is not allowed, I think.
Just a moment.
Could we? No, in short, just finish. In short, Debarl, I think when the president says that he wants people to stop politicking, that we all need to come on the table, we join him in the agenda. I think if I was on this Tangatanga team, the first thing I will do is to say, this is a very good opportunity for us to unify the country. We join everybody in BBI, is all inclusive, and we take the country forward.
Gladys, you'll get your chance.
Thank you. I think the opportunity has really been given to Gladys. She feels overwhelmed, She feels like we are.
Of course, also Alice, she's not here. She's
overwhelming.
Yeah.
But
so she needs.
She should calm down. And I think. But I thought that's Manyora's duty.
I'll do it.
You normally would do it with Alice. I don't know about.
If you tell me calm down, I find that patronizing.
I know how I'll do it.
Yeah, that's patronizing.
No, today we are not patronizing. She needs to tell us something, I think, Gladys, because on this Naivasha thing, there's something you're not telling us. Obviously, because if you're saying this about the rallies to come, then why are you involving people whose rallies already passed? People from Kisii, from Mombasa, they've already finished theirs.
Yes.
So what are they doing in Naivasha with you? Number two, it is your meeting is not about Uasin Gishu. Your meeting is going to be about your region, our region, you and I. And we're all going to be there in Eldoret because it's a regional thing. It's not about Uasin Gishu. It's not about Uasin Gishu style. It's not about West Pokot style. It's about the Great Rift, the Rift Valley. And I think we should begin to think that the meeting in Naivasha should actually be Rift Valley. We should call our Rift Valley meeting and say, how are we going to handle this matter in Rift Valley? Not trying to bring in people who have already, most of them have finished with their rallies, or even if the future of their rallies. So there is something else about Naivasha meeting which we are not getting.
Right.
And I think our guess may be as good as the media is guessing. Something is cooking. Because, I mean, so if it was really an open thing, some of us would have been invited. I don't know who was invited. Were you invited?
No.
So nobody has been invited.
So it's not. How was this invitation? Was it selective? Yeah, because we can see here, if you may pick up that standard page 10, it says that Murkomen was adamant the meeting will go on as scheduled. Okay, so let me just begin from there on top. This is, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth column. It says, we know it is a Tanga meeting, but they should know that we are watching who will be attending the meeting. This is what we had some gentlemen saying here. So I'm just reading an excerpt of there. But let me just read what Murkomen said here. He said, quote unquote, we will be bonding. All Jubilee MPs have been invited. Those saying they have not been invited, it is because they do not want to come. We will also be discussing BBI. We will also talk about how MPs can organize sensitization meetings in their constituencies. This is what he says. Exactly. Then we have Molo MP Kuria Kimani saying that there are issues that had come up during the past 3 BBI meetings held in regions perceived as opposition strongholds that had not been addressed in the first document. He says, quote unquote, we have more issues than what was given at Bomas. Mombasa led by example. There were many issues raised by the coastal people that are not in the BBI. As Jubilee leaders, we'll also have to consolidate the views of our people on what they want BBI to address as well. So they're not really satisfied with what some of these pronouncements were really coming out.
By what the newspapers write, because sometimes they are inaccurate.
But this is,
but what I know,
verbatim here.
I wouldn't know that. But what I know is that the part that you're saying that we are meeting to discuss the BBI, that's correct. How to conduct sensitization programs, that is correct. I've said it on this show. But I want to correct something. As we go, just before, first of all, do not trivialize our meeting. Because when you have a meeting, I won't trivialize it. I think it's disrespectful. Number 2, I have not said the deputy president is anywhere in Naivasha. So for Obogeni to say on this show that the deputy president has retreated to Naivasha is unfair and wrong and unbecoming of an advocate of such high standing. Because the deputy president is not there. I clearly said here we are like-minded MPs. Why does he keep on wanting to saddle us with the deputy president, the deputy president, the deputy president, the deputy president? It's almost like an obsession that you have. Why do you keep bringing him where he's not there? When you say the deputy president is misleading us, where is the president in Naivasha? You can come to Naivasha and check out if he's there. He's not there. He has other work to do, and he's not part of this program. When I say, and the Honorable Pogisho, when I talk, I mention Uasin Gishu, because even the day we'll sit as North Rift, you will be there to provide, to represent your region. I will represent my region. Our people will each speak. Then now we can have a collated views of the North Rift.
Thank you.
But when I give examples, no, I haven't finished. When I give examples, I talk about that. Let me say, when we say we'll go to a referendum, that is legitimizing the illegitimate. First of all, you cannot say from the table here we'll go to a referendum. Kwanzaa, what are the questions that are going to the referendum? Then we'll know whether it's a referendum issue or not a referendum issue. It may be that the things that will come out from BBI too may not be issues that require a referendum. We don't know that. So why are we predetermining that we are going to a referendum when we don't even know whether the recommendations is going to say. It's like it's a predetermined process that will go to a referendum. Yet wananchi, the report is not out for us to go to a referendum. And I'll finish by closing like this. Yes, I know Honorable Governor Tolgos may have been appointed by the president.
Yes.
But I can tell you, on the ground, there is no way that Governor Tolgos will come to Wasingishu and organize our rallies for us. Not as long as Governor Mandago lives and the rest of us. Because it is an insult to the people of Wasingishu who voted their own governor, their own woman representative, and their own members of parliament and their own MCAs. We cannot have other people coming to lord on us. So that is a no. So it's one thing to appoint him, but will wananchi agree? And the power lies with the people. I always say heshimu raia.
Thank you. Could we just be winding up on the BBI and the Naivasha retreat as it is right now?
Well, if I may I just wanted to ask this.
But I thought this is Richard Onyonka's town.
Yeah, okay.
I will seize my time.
Okay, something has been
cool.
something has thrown out,
right,
and I think that something has to change in the mind of my sister here. The possibility that you would probably disrupt
no, when
a BBI meeting.
Disrupt, those are your
no. You're already saying
I
that.
said the people want
you're almost saying of our dead body, or something like that. Why would you say? Because I think this is a teamwork. This is teamwork. Even if Tolgos is a leader.
He can organize in Elgeyo Marakwet.
No, but this is a region. This is a region. And they'll work with other governors to bring about a meeting. That's what has been working.
All right.
So I just wanted to. I think we should not worsen Gishu.
Thank you. Because
it's just a venue. You see.
Last week we asked this particular question, and we had this particular editorial cartoon by Iga, and this is a cow there. And we have different segments of the cow, you know, we have the president, the premier, and the governors. And I asked you a very pointed question. Why was the president meeting the governors, you know, on Thursday last week but one? Because we've seen this pronouncement also in Mamangina Drive. Now the governors will be having, or there will be sort of a third-tier government as it is right now. And this is what actually also Gladys is really contesting, especially with Tolgos. Why should we be given that particular, you know, sort of responsibility to be steamrolling BBI and shaking BBI in those regions as it is right now?
When we have leaders elected.
Why was it?
It's abusing the power of the vote.
Was it very consultative? Because this is very general.
It's an insult to the power of the vote.
Debarl, could I answer that? I've noticed that in our politics in Kenya, it depends on what you think about an idea. I'll give you an example. For the first time in Kisii, we held a meeting which had Kure Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, and Kisii Nyanza in Kisii. Previously, that has never happened. Right now, if we had not consulted, yes, and if many of the governors from Luo Nyanza had decided that they were not going to come for that meeting because their people would not be there, and as a result it was not something they wanted to do, they would have raised the issue. But we realized that was not an issue at all. Out of that arrangement, the governors themselves actually appointed James Ongwae to become the chair of Nyanza as a region. So to me, what I would like to mention to Honorable Sholei is that if you really wanted this matter to look as if there is a deliberate decision to make sure that all of you are sidelined and in fact you have not been consulted, the truth is I hope and I know that consultation will take place, because nobody can come to your county where you've been elected and decide to hold meetings without consultations with you.
But why is the consultation really coming afterward? You've now
what happened? That is the second point I was coming to. What happened is it's exactly the same issue about who was going to be the master of ceremony. Okongo Mogeni would have become the master of ceremony. And there was
allow us to choose the governor in charge of North Rift.
No, I am saying, but Gladys, I thought you were in Jubilee. That is your president who has chosen for you Tolgos.
That's dictatorship.
You sound like me. I'm in the opposition.
No, I'm not.
Let's exchange our.
No, you know I'm okay. No. By the way,
let's
it's not my role. It's not my role to rubber stamp the decision of the president.
No.
My role is to oversight the executive, which includes the president. I'm doing my job as a member of parliament by doing so.
Honorable Gladys,
I'm doing my job as a member of parliament.
With a lot of humility and a lot of due respect. Please, this was a decision made by President Muigai Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the president of Jubilee, whose deputy is His Excellency Honorable William Samoei Ruto. Now, when you are telling me...
I don't have to agree with it.
No, I'm not saying you should agree with it. All I'm saying is I'm just trying to give you the information.
I'll tell you how I was saying how my people feel, because I represent them, and if that's the position they have taken.
Okay, I'm sure the president's people have heard you. For me, I wanted to say this. Yes. We have Jubilee members, this Tangatanga Kieleweke thing. In fact, they've really made our work easy in the opposition. When a group is in Mombasa saying, let's go for referendum, another group of my brother Washiali and Didmas Baraza are screaming all over saying how they will not attend Uhuru's meeting. Uhuru is just a useless guy. In fact, they wasted their vote. Okay, thank you, Didmas. Thank you, Washiali. You guys keep doing the opposition work. Me, I really wish I was in government.
You are.
Yes. I think. Is it my turn, eh?
Yeah, it is your turn.
I want to offer.
Gladys, we've given you your turn.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to give my friends from the other side free advice, and they don't pay me. Gladys, please organize to pay me something small. I want to advise you that I want to confirm to you now.
You have to find it valuable.
No. This is the other forum to seek consultancies. Please, those ones who do outside the studio, you can use this podium to seek for consultancy work.
I want to confirm that there will be a meeting, a BBI meeting in Eldoret. I wish further to confirm that prior to the meeting, there will be some kind of engagement, conference or whatever it is, or people from North Rift.
Done by us.
And
organized by us.
Gladys Bolshele will be an important component in that meeting.
Correct.
Plus Governor Mandago.
Correct.
But I also wish to confirm that the same meeting shall be chaired by none other than Governor Tolgos from Elgeyo Marakwet. I also want to advise you to begin thinking of the possibility of the Eldoret meeting being a state function, because the president could attend. And all the noise you are making will all disappear. And if you did anything near what you are suggesting, then you will be jeopardizing the chances of the deputy president, because you will be saying you want to use that opportunity to show you are disrespect the head of state. You see, so I'm only advising you, and I'm sure you will.
Real consultancy.
Again, Debarl, as far as the referendum is concerned, I want to inform those who are saying, how do we know there will be a referendum? Look here, your mama comes in the sitting room to tell you that your children, that today we are eating this, and you are doubting, you are saying, until we see it. How can you doubt your mother saying this is what she's preparing for you? Uhuru and Raila are the owners of BBI. Raila has told us, because as head of state, you must understand this, as head of state, as president of the Republic of Kenya, there are certain things the president can't utter. He can't say certain things. He can't play politics in certain ways because he remains the president. So he leaves it to his brother to tell us, look here, what we are cooking in the kitchen is a referendum. How dare you doubt your leadership? It is really, and I'm only helping these people. They must know that they have been outsmarted. They have been outfoxed. On this thing of BBI, let them offer no resistance. Let them join and begin planning how to benefit. I rest my case.
Okay. Now we want to gravitate this discussion. Just briefly,
point.
We wind up on it. We got
the other small
one issue
point,
to wind up.
The other small point that I wanted to make is that when I talk to my people, Debarl, out there, the voters who my people are telling me they don't want that thing to be brought to parliament, because they say parliamentarians, you know what we do. Right? Some of us have no principles, some of us are going to mutilate the thing further. That is what happened from the Naivasha, Okongo, you were there, about the draft in Naivasha and everything. So many of the voters, the reason why they actually like this BBI is because they feel they even have a capacity to reject it. if it is brought and they are unhappy with some of the things which are going to come there. So for me, I want to plead with my colleagues who are in Naivasha. Please, let us not push this country to a point whereby we are going from now on until 2022. We are going to continue screaming at each other. We are going to continue fighting, and where the winner takes it. In other words, the problem we are trying to solve, we are actually trying to create it. Yes, so my sister and my leader from Washington Gishu, I would really pray that you'll be amongst the people who are persuading the other side. Like many of us, by the way, without even mentioning it, keep on persuading our friends. We say, let's be more accommodative. Like the Mombasa rally, we got a lot of information from the other side. Wiper was not very happy because they felt it became an ODM issue. In Fort Kenya, we were accepted. We really don't have much of an issue. If the rally goes to Bungoma, I believe it will go there. It will obviously be more of a Fort Kenya matter, but it will have national leaders coming in. And Kenyans felt very good from Mombasa that there was no skirmishes. Can we agree that we accommodate each other?
Thank you. I agree.
Thank you. Finally, with you, Gladys, yes?
Yeah, one correction. The Jubilee Party has a constitution. The decisions of the Jubilee Party are made in a parliamentary group meeting, not by the party leader. Correction. And I've not heard that there's been a parliamentary group meeting or a NEC meeting to make those decisions. So whatever decision the president makes on Honorable Onyonka are not the decisions of Jubilee.
Yes.
Yes.
But he's the president.
Okay.
So
no.
Who called the Naivasha meeting? I think.
No, Naivasha meeting is not a party parliamentary group meeting. Why do you keep saying that?
So you can see the confusion. You are being told the party has a constitution.
You're the one who's saying.
Structure.
How many times do I have to?
Just a moment.
How many times do I have to tell you it's not a parliamentary group meeting? I never said it's a parliamentary group meeting. I
was just making an observation.
No, that is your own imagination. It's something you'd like to believe.
Thank you.
It's not true.
Thank you. Just we've got a few minutes just to
No, I did not say.
Just a moment. Gladys and Okongo Mogeni. Just a moment. So we want to gravitate this discussion to what the Deputy President had earlier claimed that, there are people or a cabal within a government who are actually particularly intent on making sure that it goes back to the ICC. And we saw also the Right Honorable Raila Odinga starkly denying that he tried to reach out to Ruto through a phone call as well. Let's just listen to some of the bites that we have there. Then we'll show you also what is was in the Sunday Nation yesterday as well.
I have said before, and I will repeat again, even before the Honorable Raila reached out to Uhuru Kenyatta, he reached out to me.
We met just the two of us. There was nobody else, no intermediary.
Was William Ruto present?
No.
Was he part of these negotiations at all?
Not at all. Not at all. That's why I was shocked and surprised when he mentioned this, that I had approached him.
Why would he say on a live national program on NTV that you reached out to him first before you reached to the president?
That is very unethical. Because, I mean, why would I even call Ruto? I never called Uhuru. Why would I call Ruto? I never did. So that I can swear, I never talked to William Ruto.
I want to apologize on that particular date. That was yesterday, not in 2000. So that's an interview that we had yesterday on NTV. But also looking at page 19 of the Sunday Nation, now ICC is refusing to be drawn into claims of Ruto case revival. Earlier we heard him saying, as I mentioned, that some people within government are trying to make sure that he is going back to ICC. We are not after Ruto. This is what ICC is saying. International Criminal Court reacts to Deputy President's claims on the case, and this is where it is well fleshed out on page 19 of the Sunday Nation. So these claims where we can see who is fooling who, and if we have, the stature of a Deputy President who is lying through his teeth as far as these pronouncements are concerned from ICC, and maybe from Raila Odinga. We don't know the truth where it lies. But now if also an institution like ICC will come and say there's nothing like that, what does it portend for the stature of the president and the credibility and the integrity of the president, the deputy president of Kenya? Let's begin with you, Herman.
You see, ICC, The Hague, anybody who was around when this thing was happening would not wish it on anybody. We saw what President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto went through with their... we cut back on the history. We just go right into it, yes, because of time. Would not wish it on anybody.
Thank you.
And it's important to separate the truth from the politics. There was so much politics about ICC, about Raila wanting to fix Ruto, yet it was Raila who was leading the efforts to have this thing done locally. So that's what I'm talking about. And now, I think it is wrong on the part of the Deputy President to try to introduce the ICC again round two as a political thing. Because even the ICC, you are saying we stick to the issue. The ICC itself has said categorically, they are not after him. So what do you want us to say? I'm saying people use the ICC to get to State House. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how politics works. So if the Deputy President is reintroducing the issue of the ICC, it is again ICC phase 2 for the political reasons. Because it can't be factual. I've told you the facts from the beginning was that, for example, Raila is the one who was heading the initiative to have a local mechanism that was provided for to try anybody here. And Kenyans refused. Parliamentarians refused. I remember the DP himself saying, let us not be vague. Let's have Hague. Let's go to Hague. And they said this thing will take 99 years there. And so, look here, that was politics then. And this is politics now, because who else would you want to hear from? The ICC itself is saying we are not after Ruto. So why don't you raise the issue there and not even discuss it? Because
I saw Richard Onyonka, you reacting to this when you were in Kisii.
Yes.
Your reaction, will you tell us what was your reaction?
My reaction is there's a narrative to this story. Every time the issue of ICC comes up and the issue of what has happened in 1992, come all the way, the historical aspect of it. The community where I come from is never discussed. And yet we have constantly lost people. We have constantly had our people die for the simple reason is either they voted the wrong side of Kenya's politics or they were actually caught in the crossfire. And my response was very simple. This story was started by the Deputy President. And Debarl, the point I raised for me was very simple. Number one, look at what happened for the post-election violence to take place. First of all, there was this toxicity of political language, of the threats. And somehow when you sit and listen to what is happening, and particularly for the people who are supporting the Deputy President, you find those people coming up. Like there is a clip which is viral, where some lady is talking about and saying, whatever it takes, if you people want us to go back and have a civil war, we can do it. Nobody's going to make... And we are like, let us all look at our history and let us all mitigate ourselves and make us stop the toxicity of our political language, where we come out and people are saying, hata sisi tuna mtu yetu, kama mwezi kupigia yeye kura, mtatuona. That is how it started. And what we are saying is, we are going to hold every politician in check. Okongo Mugeni, how many people died in your place who were brought where heads were not there, the limbs were not on? Yeah. And people are busy telling us that if we are not willing to vote in a certain way, then they are going to come out. And we are not accepting that. And many of us are going to call it this time. And we are going to challenge everybody. Leave the ICC alone. Let us work with this BBI thing, because presumably, and this is what our hope is, right, we are trying to solve the problem of Kenya becoming a tribal country, becoming a country where we kill each other during elections. And it is a very painful thing, Debarl, because our people, and I'm not talking as a spokesman of the Kisii community, I'm just telling you because I have them. Up to now, they are displaced. Many of them were never compensated. Most of them lost their properties. It is a very painful issue.
Right. Why would the Deputy President be actually picking up this particular issue? Is it because he wants to use a reverse psychology to gain sympathy from the public? right? And of course, this is already, a stab from a wound that is already festering.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head. The DP wants to, use ICC like 2013 to win sympathy votes and, get his way to State House. But I think, as Onyonka has told you, don't open old wounds.
Correct.
Some communities like Kisii, like where I come from in Nyamira, our internally displaced persons have never been compensated up to today. And this is a matter which is before the Office of the President, Internal Security Ministry. Now, when you open this thing, you think you're going to please people in Kisii. Free advice, and you have been given very good advice. I think you should not allow Manyora to advise Tangatanga, because he has rendered very good advice this morning at no fee and on TV.
No, they'll pay.
I mean, really, to me, I think this issue of ICC, if somebody was to advise DP, that's an issue that has caused pain to so many families. And there are so many families who, up to now, say their loved ones who were killed in matters that are unresolved up to today. And their fingers being pointed to certain people.
My own sister, not cousin, not stepsister. She walked from Kericho to my home.
So I think whoever can talk to the DP, let him lock this somewhere. We don't need to want to hear him opening this up. I think issue of handshake, I don't know. The whole world knows that the discussions were between Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Why the DP wants to come and lie to the country, and we expect a leader to be someone who speaks the truth. At least if on this issue of handshake, he wants us to choose between Raila and him, we can say there are questions. But I can tell you on ICC, when you see a statement coming from ICC saying we are not reopening the case, that is a body which is of high integrity. There is nothing like this. What is happening is just politics.
All right.
Well, there are two issues which I think we are done with the ICC issue. Obviously, it's wrong to bring back ICC. And I think that's a chapter that should be closed completely. The ICC has said nobody is after the deputy president. Hopefully, they will not come up again, because it's a very emotive issue for victims and so on. On the issue of why would the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, pronounce himself on a matter that was claimed by a deputy president, because he was asked on television, is it true that you had reached out to William Ruto? And he says no. Now, the reverse, I mean, the flip of that question is, why would the deputy president ever claim to have been approached? And if he was not approached. So there is something that we need to find there. The whole question is, for the kind of work that the Raila needed, it did not need the deputy president for sure. He needed the president. And as he explained there, he says it was candidate to candidate. Unless now the deputy president was probably supposed to be asked to find an appointment or something, I don't understand. But the whole truth is, we should I think, sometimes we have to understand that in our politics, the way we started 2013 under this new constitution, sometimes it was our mistake to have come into a system called the presidential system, or in the constitution, where it sometimes looks like we have two presidents in one country. And that's where we have a big problem in this. I think that's why we should be thinking about reversing that and going to a parliamentary system. Because that divides people.
Thank you.
That gives a strength to people. So somebody will say, they were looking for me in my capacity. But the truth is, we needed to have one-on-one, President and Raila, and not anybody in the intermediate. And they said nobody knew about it.
Thank you.
Because when they were announcing that handshake,
it was a shock.
It was a shock to everybody.
Thank you, thank you. Right, Gladys.
Okay, first of all, unlike Senator Mugeni, I do not comment on things that I have that are on facts that are not within my knowledge. So what the deputy president says and what Raila Odinga says, I cannot comment on it because I was not there. I don't know whether I cannot say Raila is right or that the deputy president is right on that point. But also, I think, Debarl, you've used very strong words here. You said the deputy president is lying through his teeth. And let me advise you and teach you how to, because I'm a lawyer on this one. He said the deputy president did not say they have taken him to the ICC.
I said could.
I said
could.
But yeah, that means the matter is not active in the ICC. So that means when ICC says, no, don't interrupt me. When ICC says that they have not received any case, it's true. But the Deputy President did not claim that it's been filed. There's a difference between filing a case and planning to file a case. Those are two different things. So with the position you've taken, I think you better apologize for it, because you only talked about planning. He did not talk about the case was already active before the ICC. No. He used the words lying through his teeth, which is not lying through his teeth. No, but he did not say. If he had said the case is active in the court of the ICC court, then he would have been lying. But he has said they are planning to take a case to the ICC. Those are two different facts. So you have commented on the wrong fact. And you have to apologize, Debarl, actually. Yes, and I will tell your producer. I will tell your producer about it. Your producer has to apologize. Number two, when Raila Odinga said that he met the Deputy President in 1978 when he was 12 years old, is that lying? Because he said he met the Deputy President in 1978. The Deputy President. He meant 98. Why are you making excuses for him? No. Because you can't be. This is too one-sided.
He meant 98.
Right, Just let her. Did he tell you? Are you in his brain?
He said, yeah.
Were you in his mind? Did he tell you?
He said William Ruto won an election in 1997.
And then he said, I met him. No. You people are now making excuses for him. How come you make excuses for one man and on another man you vilify him? It shows it's unfairness and there is a bias here.
All right.
This is pure bias.
Thank you.
And even the other words that you used, he wants to use reverse psychology. I think it's not your place as an anchor of this show to be able to make cast aspersions when we are in the middle of the show on persons. It's unfair.
No. But I did make a statement.
No. That is casting aspersions. You cast aspersions in the question.
Gladys, you cannot tell me how to run my show. Yes, because first of all,
but I'm saying my opinion.
I was posing it. No. I asked it. I asked as a question for you to actually. Do you think? Yes. Do you? It is not a statement I've made.
But it's a leading question.
No.
You are not a family.
It's a leading question.
Actually here to counter it,
and I think, Debarl, if there is an issue, the DP can actually raise that issue with his lawyers. If it is a problem, Madam Member of Parliament, my sister Gladys.
And then number two,
we are winding up. We say it on the nose, Gladys.
On the last one, he said that the DP was in Naivasha. That was also a lie, and you did counter him on that.
You corrected, didn't you?
Yes.
Right? Did you? You were given a chance to rejoin, and you never rejoined that. Just a moment. Thank you.
You said he is in Naivasha.
Thank you.
He has retreated.
Thank you, Gladys.
No.
Gladys.
You said the
Thank
deputy.
you. All right. Thank you, everyone.
No.
Right.
You cannot be a
Thank you. I'll be remiss also if we don't also just highlight what the world is mourning about right now. Kobe Bryant, the towering, iconic figure, and his daughter Gianna were killed in a helicopter crash. And we have it here, of course. This is on Newsweek. You can follow the story. And I know also my colleague Zainab Ismail will come with more details about this. This is Kobe Bryant. Also being an avid fan of basketball, we are mourning this iconic giant who died in a plane crash. This is according to TMZ, which say the 5 people were confirmed dead after emergency personnel arrived at the scene. Bryant's wife, Vanessa Bryant, was reportedly not in the helicopter when it crashed, but he was with the daughter, that is the 13-year-old Gianna. Now, we'll leave you with this quarter of a day before we hand over now to Zainab Ismail for AM Live Plus. Don't go away. And this is what we have for you this morning. In the end, it is important to remember that we cannot become what we need to be by remaining what we are. And that is Max Dupree, for Maximum Levy there. Quarter of a day. Isma.
Right.
Good to see
morning.
you. How are you?
A very good morning to you. I'm good. How's everything?
Not bad.
So a lot of tributes pouring in for the basketball legend,
Yes.
Kobe Bryant, and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna. And of course, that's something we're going to be taking a look at, as well as in the courts. Our eyes are trained there, where Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino will be heading. Then, of course, the judge will be ruling whether he will be getting a bail or whether his bail application will be accepted or not. So, of course, that's what we'll be looking at, as well as maybe having a little bit more conversation on that exclusive interview yesterday with ODM party leader Raila Odinga.
All right, so politics continues.
Definitely.
All right, thank you.
As always.
Right, we'll take a short break right now. Thank you for your valued company. Lots of reactions that we're seeing here. We're going to have breakfast and make amends. All right, I think. Over to you. Thank you very much for your valued company. My name is Debarl now.
Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Registration for January, May and September 2020 intakes is ongoing. Apply now. Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Growing reputation.
Gari ndio hii Haya, kujeni tuangalie.
From 4 to 8 p.m. on the Nation Drive. More music.
Haya, ngeni muangalie. You people have been found guilty of listening to Nation FM. Anto Naubina. On that note, everybody in this matatu is being paid for fare today.
Tunakemea January.
Just move to more music and less talk. Nation FM will be rewarding all Mathris tuned in to Nation FM. Watch out for the team as we visit various parts of the county. Nominate a SACCO that tunes in using the hashtag JustMove. Tag us and we will pay your fare. Kemea in January, only on Nation FM.
In the second phase of devolution, Kakamega County has realized tremendous change in all sectors. One such sector is the Ministry of Water. The county's vision is to increase the water reservoir capacity, making it available to the larger population of over 2 million Kakamega residents.
Looking to enjoy sumptuous meals and drinks at affordable rates? Welcome to Nasco's. Our diverse menu gives you a variety to choose from. Visit us at Veteran House 4th floor, Moi Avenue, or along Mombasa Road at the Nation Printing Press Center. We offer outside catering service and do home and office deliveries. For inquiries or to place an order, call 0700-613-902 or email info@nascos.co.ke. Nation Staff Consumer Society Limited. Enjoy our hospitality.
You know very well that I don't need Samantha.
Then why on earth did you abduct her?
Because I failed to kidnap you.
Please don't do this. Let's talk about this, okay?
Take me to my son right now. Because if you don't, I won't hesitate to shoot you in the head.
He's in here.
Is the yacht already here?
It's on its way, Governor.
What?
I'll take care of JR.
Hillary! Don't you dare touch him!
Samantha, will you marry me?
Mimi siku hizi nimekuwa mtu very honest kabisa. Honest indeed, si ndio? Ndio maana ulikuwa unanyemelea hapo ukitoka siku zako zimeisha. Sasa wewe na vile tulikuwa na amani na upendo ile wakati ulikuwa umeenda, umekuja kutufuruga.
We decided to invite Sasha to hang out with us.
Kazi yote ya mtoto ni yako. Ulishe mtoto, uoshe mtoto, umlalishe na ufue nguo zake zote.
Anti-Bus. With Lipa na M-Pesa, you get more. Lipa na M-Pesa. Every 100 shillings spent on Lipa na M-Pesa earns you an entry into the draw. Do more with Lipa na M-Pesa.
I've been on the forefront for corruption.
And that's a good place to begin. A lot of this corruption happens because private sector and government are in bed together.
We've had this talk many times.
How drastic should the measures be taken? Because we can't keep on talking.
We don't see any action. The president has the ability to actually fire people.
I like to ask a direct question for direct answers. The heart of humanity. How do you still have it when you're such a hardened soldier?
This is not about you, it's not about your life. It's about the country that I serve.
This is where the real conversation happens.
Lit 360.
Hey there,
this is Crystal Asige.
Very baby, and I'm the storyteller. Ay. My name is Ben Sol. You're watching Lit 360.
The best thing to happen to the 254 is full of fashion, food, music, and of course, some fun.
You know me pupa, eh? Toto kiboko.
Party after party. Party after party. After party after party.
Lit 360.
All that wrapped into one to give you all the juice, the sauce, and the tea, and get it all on camera for you.
The blind man told police officers, afade mimi sijawahi ona bangi maisha yangu yote.
Hizo ma award zikafanya watu waanze kuimbia award badala waimbe the word.
Mimi mkinichagua mtaona miujiza.
Anajifanya siku hizi.
Kibia mara moja.
Naogopa Mwenyezi Mungu na uji moto peke yake.
Hiyo si bangi.
Every day, NTV News Team moves you to the center of the action.
The security forces who took that in this operation, police are not taking anything to chance.
Moves you to the heart of the story to witness and record history.
Rendering the declared results null and void.
Telling the story of Kenya.
The growing importance of border in Mandera.
Matatus will be on strike.
And beyond.
The politics in the United States capital. It is the 7th edition of the Global Education taking place in Dubai.
When it comes to business, we crunch the numbers and unpack the detail with the latest information for your investment decision.
It's time to say goodbye to this note and karibu to this note.
In order for the manufacturing sector to be elevated from the ground.
Despite the government's promise to create at least 1.3 million jobs,
moves you fast past the planes and trucks to bring you the triumphs and joys of our great men and women.
Moving stories that touch our hearts.
I didn't know that I could go back to school.
The Back to School program has brought hope to these young mothers.
NTV News. News that moves you.
All right, a very good morning to you. This 27th day of January 2020. You're watching AM Live Plus. My name is Zainab Ismail. We'll be taking a look at stories that are making headlines across the country and beyond. And of course, like always, we have our reporters on the ground who will be bringing us up to date with what is happening in the different areas across the country. But we'll begin with Janet Nyamwamu, who is in Kisii County. Will be bringing us an update on that. We also have Kusa, who is in Kisumu County. But before that, Janet, a very good morning to you. What can you tell us from that part of the region? What is happening?
Good morning, Zainab Ismail. I'm here in Kisii. It's a good morning, a chilly morning. It rained over the night. But very quickly to what the stories that we'll be following up this week, and specifically we'll start following up today. There is a crack that because of the rains that have been pounding this country, there's a crack that formed at the Manga Hills in Kisii County, the part of Kisii County. Manga Hills region is in Nyamira and Kisii County, but the most affected people are in Kisii County. So the crack that formed was about 4 kilometers, and geologists warned the people living around that hill to vacate. So they vacated, but reports that are reaching me is that now they vacated to schools, but most of the families are going back because the schools are open and there is nowhere that they can be putting up. So I talked with the area MCA, who said that geologists they came here last week and they are giving a report today. A brief history of Manga Hills. Manga Hills, it has legends and myths of the Abagusi community and the discovery of an old lake. It is said that decades ago, some houses, they sank and formed some lake that connects direct to Lake Victoria. That's why when it rains heavily, the people there live in fear. So this is one of the stories that we are going to follow up from this region, Zainab.
Thank you so much, Janet, there from Kisii County. And of course, like she said, a very chilly morning indeed. A very good morning to you, Okusa. Okusa is coming to us live from Kisumu County. What can you give us from that? What is an update that you can tell us? What is happening?
Well, Zainab, of course, here we expect some crackdown on border operators. It's actually entering its second week. This started sometime last week. Those who are yet to remit their taxes, daily taxes, which is 20 shillings per day or 500 per month, their motorbikes being impounded by the county government. We are talking of about 200 operators across Kisumu County. And of course, right now, the county government says that they expect them, those who have not yet remitted those taxes, to pay 6,000 shillings to cover for the whole year. So that's a story we are following up because it has been causing some friction between the operators and the county government askaris. And of course, again, we'll be looking at the county assembly, which elected a new speaker last week. They mentioned about some 4 important bills that they'll be trying to pass. So we'll be checking that out too, for the sake of our viewers. Back to you, Zainab.
All right, thank you so much, Okukus, and of course that will definitely be a highlight for us as it brings us a more comprehensive report later on. But even away from Okukusa, who's in Kisumu County, let's now cross over live to Murang'a County, where Martin Mwaura is currently on standby. Wow, a very good morning to you, Martin. How's the weather looking in Murang'a County, and what's an update from you on that side?
Yes, good morning, Zainab. It is a wet Monday morning here at County 021. And just to give a small brief of what is happening in the county, last week, you remember, I informed our viewers that there was a traffic police officer who was attacked and his Seska Jericho was stolen. Now, over the weekend, the police managed to do a raid and shot down a suspect and managed to recover the gun that was said to be on the wrong hand. Now, the gun had been used for 3 crimes here, 1 in Kirinyaga and 2 others in Murang'a. But the police are saying that they will not relent until they get all the firearms that are in the wrong hands. That is one story that we'll be following up, because issues to do with insecurity have hit this part of Murang'a town, including some carjackings and even robbery with violence. That is one story that we'll be following up on. Something else that we are following up on is agriculture. You know, Murang'a County is actually the county that produces over 50% of avocados that are exported from this country. Now the country is in the process of setting up a law that will govern avocado harvesting and to stop farmers from being exploited. Yes, there was a public participation, and as the assembly resumes next week from recess, those are some of the few issues that will be discussed. That is those are some of the stories that we'll be picking tabs on as much as this county is concerned. Back to you, Zainab.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Martin Mwaura there. And of course, Matters Agriculture and Security will be topping his list of the stories he's keeping a look at. Away from that, let's also now take a look at what's happening in Taita Taveta County. A very good morning to you, Bill Otieno. What can you tell us from that part? It's been raining quite heavily here in Nairobi. Has it been the same in that region?
Thank you very much, Zainab Ishmael, and we're joining the broadcast here in Voi, Taita Taveta. Indeed, we are going to have a general meeting that this is a gathering that will be including the members of the disciplined forces, that is the police, Kenya Wildlife Service, and the prison, and with the Office of Director of Prosecution, ODPP, and as well we are going to have the activists and the members of the public. The purpose of this meeting today is meant to make the public to meet directly or face to face with the members of the disciplined forces over cases of brutalities such like, and as well meet with the ODPP and also get an opportunity to get one-on-one advice from the lawyers from that area. This meeting is being held across 6 counties at the Coast Region this week, and here in Taita Taveta I'll be following up on the same on the the event that is taking place at Dan Mwazo held by Haki Africa. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Bill Otieno. Then, of course, Bill Otieno is coming to us live from Voi, that is in Taita Taveta County. Now, remember, we have all the stories that we are keeping our eyes traded on, and we'll begin in here in Nairobi, where the Monetary Policy Committee is holding its first meeting of 2020, and, of course, we'll be discussing a lot of issues that will be dealing with the economy. We'll also be taking a look at, of course, what is happening in the courts, where, like I said, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Wino will be appearing. But away from the courts, we'll be taking a look at also what we're keeping an eye on, what has been happening in history, and specifically this particular time. But like I said, the Monetary Policy Committee is currently holding its first meeting of 2020, and will discuss whether to cut the central bank rate or not. The MPC, headed by the CBK Governor Patrick Njoroge, meets every 2 months to evaluate economic conditions in Kenya and set the central bank rate. In the last meeting, held in November, the team lowered the CBR by 50 basis points to 8.5%. Like I said, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Wino will today know whether his bail application in the case where he's charged with shooting and injuring Felix Orinda, popularly known as DJ Evolve, at B Club in Nairobi on Friday, will be accepted by the court. The court on Thursday last week declined to order Owino taken to a private hospital for treatment. Instead, trial magistrate Kennedy Cheruyot said the Member of Parliament should be treated at the Industrial Area Remand Prison Facility, where he is detained after he was charged with attempted murder. And also today, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, in partnership with the Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, the Japan Business Council for Africa, and Megaraj Capital on Kenya-Japan Business Forum, will showcase investment opportunities in Kenya and will seek to create strategic partnerships and expand the networks between Japanese and Kenyan manufacturers. Well, also today, the Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya will flag off vehicles that are to support the implementation of the Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project activities. 17 counties will benefit from this initiative, whose objective is to increase agricultural productivity and enhance resilience to climate change risk in targeted smallholder farming and pastoral communities. Also today, Yara East Africa hosts a training workshop on the role of inorganic farm inputs in improving food security and the impact it has on farmers' incomes for both substantial and commercial farm practices. All right, and even away from today's diary, we are also keeping an eye on a number of stories. And after Saturday's BBI rally in Mombasa, there are developments in the political scene. Well, some politicians allied to the Deputy President attended the rally in Mombasa on Saturday. A separate plan has been drawn to visit at least 200 constituencies to popularize their views on the initiative, and of course, that meeting in Naivasha. Well, also, we are keeping an eye on the locust invasion situation in the country. Experts say billions of locusts swarming through Kenya and the entire East Africa are the result of extreme weather and could prove catastrophic for a region still reeling from drought and deadly floods. While the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has estimated the locust numbers could grow 500 times by June, spreading to Uganda in South Sudan, becoming a plague that will devastate crops and pasture in this region, which is already one of the poorest and most vulnerable in the world if unchecked. This is the biggest invasion in Ethiopia and Somalia in 25 years and the biggest in Kenya in 70 years, according to the FAO. Well, also this week, the Senate is expected to probe grounds on which Kiambu County Assembly members relied to remove their Governor Ferdinand Waititu from office. Well, Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka has already gazetted Tuesday and Wednesday as the days when Waititu is to be tried by the whole plenary after senators shot down a motion seeking to form an 11-member special committee to undertake this particular task. All right, and today in history, on January 27th, 2002 in Lagos, Nigeria, more than 1,000 people died in a stampede after an explosion in a munitions store caused people to scatter for safety. The Ikeja Armory was located just north of the city center at Lagos and housed a large barracks and munitions depot. Well, on this day as well, in 1986, the U.S. Space Shuttle Challenger exploded 73 seconds after liftoff from Florida, killing all 7 aboard, including a school teacher who had been chosen as the first American civilian to travel in space. The launch was shown live on CNN, and many schools set up television for children to watch due to the involvement of the teacher in the shuttle. All right, well, on this day as well, in 1967, the Outer Space Treaty, which banned the placing of nuclear weapons or any other weapons of mass destruction in orbit of Earth, was signed by 60 countries of the world, including the 2 superpowers at the time. That's it. That's the Soviet Union and the United States of America. The 2 countries both had large space exploration programs and large nuclear programs. This was an important treaty because if any country was to place nuclear weapons or other weapons of mass destruction in orbit, then no country in the world would be safe. So that will be very interesting. But also moving on, today in 1984, Michael Jackson received serious burns on his head after his hair caught fire while singing his hit Billie Jean for a commercial in Los Angeles. The incident happened when the special effects went wrong. All right, there you have it, some of the stories that we are taking a look at today. And of course, still keeping an eye on some of the developments in the stories we've been covering in the past few days and past few weeks. But at this point, we'll be now just taking a look at some of the developments in the political scene as well. And we're joined by our resident political and governance analyst, Gabriel Muthuma. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Zainab.
A very chilly morning indeed, right?
It is actually.
But no traffic today.
Yesterday was worse. Oh, of course, there's traffic. There's traffic.
You still found traffic?
End month. Yeah,
right.
coming down on Gong Road.
Right.
There's quite a bit of traffic. It's
right.
Nile is starting to build up.
All right.
Yeah.
So listen, did you watch the exclusive interview that aired yesterday with ODM leader?
You know, it was a funny thing because I was jumping on both.
Right.
This station. Right. You know, I needed to hear what Maguna had to say and I needed to hear what Raila had to say.
Right.
But both of them, both of them came out with some very interesting facts. And, it's something that, is really shaping our nation. You have one person who believes that through and through, he got the hard or he got the shorter rope.
Right.
The end of the bargain for him was not what he anticipated. And this I'm talking about Miguna in particular. And, he made us actually know a few things which we never knew. And he ended up asking a very pertinent question. He said, I never took the oath. I just get the oath, but it's funny now that I'm on the other side and the person who took the oath is in government. But, you expect these things to happen. So it was quite actually interesting that he brought out Raila. On the other hand, also brought out things that were quite pertinent. We've been pushing, about BBI, which I believe we'll talk about later.
And we'll come to that. We're just picking some of the issues that he's talked about. Let's just listen in to something he spoke to while he spoke to Joseph Orungu.
How much is Honorable Raila Odinga worth? And in billions.
No, they're saying that Raila Odinga is so rich, very, very rich, which is not true. Okay?
How rich are you?
I think about 2 billion shillings.
2 million? 2 billion?
Yes.
That is not rich?
Not very rich.
2 billion shillings?
Yes.
Wow.
Just in terms of properties.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all that you own, and essentially your wealth comes from just property?
Yes. I also got some shares in some companies.
So what is rich if 2 billion is a hustler's kind of?
I'm saying in terms of, not in cash.
Right.
This is in terms of shares or in terms of, yeah, basically.
All right, so Raila Odinga has been very clear. This is my worth, 2 billion shillings. Is it commendable?
You know, hardly do you advise politicians, but I think on this one to advise our lovely Baba, 2 billion, you're a wealthy man. By any standards.
But he says
2
that's
billion.
not rich.
Well, says who? 2 billion. 2 billion is a lot of money in our country. You know, he's no longer a millionaire. He's a billionaire. You know, either way you look at it, whether it's through what he owns, the shares that he's talking about, the property that he's accumulated throughout time, 2 billion, you are a very wealthy man in Kenya. And by the way, even if you translate it into dollars, if he was to, you know, to recoup all his assets and his net worth and move in any other location of this world, he would live very comfortably. So that's a serious amount to have. You know, and sometimes... You know, the kind of man has allowed us to look at money in such a fickle way, Zainab. When you're talking about a country where the majority of the population, where our poverty index, how it's rated and what have you, when you look at the statistics that come out, from our financial institutions, when you're told that majority of us, or Kenyans for that matter, live in less than $1 a day. That just tells you the significance of the value of money or the value of net worth that Raila Odinga is talking about. And by the way, I was not expecting him to be poor. Honestly, I was not expecting him to be poor. But by any standards, I think, and I know he's trying to play it down, he's a wealthy man. Right,
but look at it this way. So he becomes the second highest ranking politician in the country to do this, to declare his wealth. Yes. Is this sort of like a leeway for now other politicians? And remember, we had the other exclusive interview with the deputy president just a few days ago. And that is a question that he clearly evaded, to disclose and of course discuss. Maybe this is a way to show that politicians should now be, open to such kind of scrutiny on the public.
Zainab, probably most of our viewers don't know this, but when you're running for office, number one, any elective post, and not only that, when you're working for government, which most of these individuals have done, whether you're looking at Deputy President William Ruto, whether you're looking at the President Uhuru Kenyatta, whether you're looking at the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, at one point, they had to declare their wealth. It is actually part of the civil service, agreement. You have to declare your net worth, or you have to declare what you're worth. So at one point, this data is in the public domain. What will seem to be lacking is a way where me and you can actually query for this information and find it, like they do in advanced democracies. So really, the idea of saying that we do not know about your net worth in this era should not actually be believed, because at some point, that paperwork, that information, those records are there somewhere. All we need to do is find a way to pull those records out. So we should actually be knowing exactly how much this person is worth. But again, Chapter 6 of our Constitution should actually be enforced to allow anybody running for an elective office or any public, leader who really wants to serve in this country. They should be allowed to declare their
whatever
their
they
wealth.
own.
Yes, yes. It's actually, it's actually it's something that you must do. All right, before you run for office.
Look at it. So another issue that of course came out from yesterday's interview, Raila Odinga was asked, would he work with Deputy President William Ruto if the latter was elected president? And he said, I have my values and they would not agree with this. So clearly saying he would not be able to work with the deputy president.
let me say two things. One is that politics in this country is very fickle. It changes. It's very capricious. I mean,
Right.
it changes.
Who
like the
knew
wind.
that the president would have a handshake with Raila Odinga?
Totally.
Right.
And also, who knew at one point you would have Deputy William Ruto and President Uhuru Kenyatta seated on the same table and negotiating and having a formula and actually being in one party or one coalition? Who would have said? Who would have said you would see the politicians that we are seeing now causing up to Raila Odinga? Who would have thought that would happen? So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that politics in our time
Right.
cannot, nothing actually can be removed out of the table. It can happen. And remember, it is just mere talk. You remember there was a time Boni Khalwale took into question the current deputy president in parliament, and he was all over calling him all sorts of names today. So, well, whether Raila goes on record to say what he's saying, you never know what the future holds.
Right.
His political future may actually be very different. But yet again, if he's talking about the virtue of his own being, not feeling as if they would work with Deputy President William Ruto, you know, he holds it personally.
Right.
But politics, the way I know politics in this country, the way I've followed it.
So the dynamics
like
keep changing.
Yes, like they say, which I think to me, sometimes that's the most ugly statement that I hear. When they say in politics, there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies. It's just, you know, common interest. And if that is to remain true, then obviously somewhere in the near future, don't count it out. You may find William Ruto and Raila Odinga probably joining hands. I mean, it's not far-fetched. Yeah.
All right. So even as we move on, let's just also take a look at one of the other issues that were also raised in that interview.
Do you today recognize Uhuru Kenyatta as president of Kenya?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes.
But you've not denounced the oath you took at Uhuru Park. I know it was not official because there were no instruments of state, but you've never actually denounced that oath.
We did, when we shook hands, we did that. Okay?
That was the moment of saying goodbye to that oath?
Yes. We were starting a new chapter.
Right.
Okay?
So there you have it.
I told you. But the good thing about this this handshake was that, albeit the fact that many people now are looking at it from different political lenses, is that it brought some element of healing. We needed to see this. And also the extension of it, which, you know, made a lot of news and headlines, was the extension of the very same thing into the prayer breakfast that was held in Safari Park, where the president asked Kalonzo Musyoka to come on the stage, and also asked Honorable Raila Odinga to come, and asked his deputy president to come up. And they actually asked for forgiveness on both these two teams. You know, that is something we never thought we would see. But you see, there is this element of many people saying that the fiery or the way, the very heated elections that we have, that they create a very big divide. I still believe at the end of the day, behind that veil of politics and the divisive elections and what have you, we still have human beings. And when the human heart comes to play, such things will happen. So I do not want to take anything out of the book. There's so many things that can be said, like what you've just, you know, what you've just played.
Right.
We never thought that would happen, but it has happened. And, you know, calm returned. You remember, Zainab, we are talking how certain individuals could not go. You know, and they are people, leaders elected in their own right, but they could not visit other regions in this country. But now look what we have now. You have people who can visit, you know, you saw in Mombasa, despite, you know, what people had said. These individuals who disagree on either policy or politics were on the same stage.
Right. So even as we even go back to Saturday's BBI rally in Mombasa County. So I don't know if you'd call this a rare brand of politics or a show that we witnessed. That particular day, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen standing up and of course talking very wisely. I would say. Right. Was it different from the other meetings?
You see, BBI is an amazing thing. Let me call it amazing because what it has produced, is a platform where people can share, even politicians. Albeit the fact that I don't want BBI to be owned by politicians. Mm-hmm. But when you look at that platform, there is a certain aura, political aura, where somebody is being told, you know what, you can come, but be careful what you say. And when the likes of Kipchumba Murkomen took the stage, they actually circumvented, navigated, let me use that word. They navigated that, that situation very, very well and brought the points home.
Right.
And the other brigade on the other side, they did not want to be seen as antagonists, even though you had a few people, trying to run a political narrative. Governor Joho, when Kipchumba was talking about, he says referendum or no referendum. And what does Kipchumba Murkomen do? He goes there to say, by the way, there will be a referendum. So they may be agreeing, even though probably, whether it's because of the photo ops or anything, or whatever it is, there are elements in BBI that they all agree upon. Question Zainab we should be asking, is that agreement genuine? And if it is genuine, where is Wanjiku in all this?
Exactly.
I think, to me, that should be the platform for Wanjiku. So if Wanjiku is going to be represented in there to a percentile of 90 and above, then we'll be comfortable with BBI.
But you talk about BBI and saying it is a very good initiative.
It is.
And covers a lot of things and issues that we need to address in this country.
Correct.
But we've talked to Kenyans, and especially the past couple of days.
Right.
But Kenyans feel left out in this conversation. It appears the conversation is only for politicians.
You see, Zainab, if we allow what we are seeing with BBI being championed by politicians, Wanjiku, me and you are going to lose.
But look,
and
this
the reason
is
is
also a political process.
It is a political process, but remember, this is something that the president himself is very wary about. Right. He has actually raised concerns about this process being owned by politicians. He was the first person to actually declare that. What needs to happen is that the conversation that should be going on is, where are we in the grand scheme of things in matters BBI? Right. What does it say about the youth? What does BBI say about the elderly? What does BBI say about the people who own land and what have you? Right. These are some of the things that need to come out clearly, but not in political rallies. Like the issue about land, it is a very emotive thing. Right. I mean, Zainab, people have fought, lives have been lost because of what we call land. Land has actually been captured on very many reports, whether you're looking at the Ndungu report, the TJRC, whether you're looking at the Kriegler's report, land issues were very emotive. But you see, for us to talk about implementation of these reports, we cannot do it in a political rally. Take it from me. It is going to be watered down, and what will come out of these rallies will be a political narrative. That is why I really run out. I mean, you can't discuss things of great and national importance in political rallies. If you're telling me parliament, that can be understood. In fact, that is where this this issue of land should be taken.
Right.
If you're talking about setting up committees that will look and implement matters land, whether it is giving vitality and new life to NLC, so be it. But these issues that are very critical, mainly to Wanjiku, and when you look at the kind of landless people we still have in this country, it is not an issue that should be discussed in political rallies.
Really, but the idea, the primary agenda of these consultative meetings was to actually raise and get the opinions of the people from these different regions.
Correct.
To say the things that they want addressed.
Correct.
So why not actually use that platform to raise these issues where the president is there and all the stakeholders are there to take in the note?
You see, one thing that you're right about, and probably many viewers don't know this, is that BBI is a political, is actually a political setup.
Right.
And that being it just provided a conduit for us to share the things that we want to change.
Exactly.
Remember, we have a very progressive constitution, so let's not take that away from our very good constitution.
Right.
But then again, as we talk about this, we needed to find a framework. Hence why you have the BBI committee. The new round, the new talk, or the new energy, or the new mandate they've been given, I think, is to collect the views that are now coming in and see the best way to implement them.
Right.
And I hope that is what they are doing. So that is why my take is we need to continue giving support to this team, all right? And see how well they will manage this process.
Right.
Remember, if we allow, and I want to repeat this as many times as possible, if we allow politicians to run with BBI, we will forever lose it. Because remember, we have a task force, we have a committee, all right, that is supposed to take our views. Whether they'll do it through town hall meetings, whether it's through the religious groups. And I know, and I've heard, and I've actually seen some of these groupings, the way they are being done, and how the views are coming in, and how they are interpreted, and how people are able to raise questions, and how they are being able to be directed in this on the questions that they are asking, and how they are being captured in the new BBI report. That is, I believe, the way it's supposed to go. But I'm starting to feel as if these political rallies, albeit the fact that they are saying, you know, we want Kenyans to know, you know, hardly will you hear, apart from Kingi over the weekend, apart from him who came with serious rafts in matters land, I didn't hear anybody else, you know. Apart, you know, many people wanted to
So then how is this productive for the common mwananchi who sits there to really try and understand what BBI is about? Because as it seems from what we've heard from Kenyans as well, they really do not understand the essence of the BBI itself.
You see, by now, what should be happening is that me and you should be reading this document.
Right.
The question we should be asking is, where are the copies? And I know so many people have been asking, where are these copies, where can be. I think
it appears Kenyans are being taken through a series of confusing, you know, ideologies.
And I think, Zainab, you're right. I think where we need to invest in civil education on the BBI. There need to be a lot of investment so that when a time or when a schedule is released, every person can know where to go. When I say every person should know where to go, colleges, I'm talking about universities, should actually be given mandate to focus on the youth and be able to table that report and allow, you know, people who are in the collegiate session to be able to read that report. Whether it's women, we should know where to find women who are in various groups and what they need to bring into the BBI. So the framework must make sense. And the political rallies must be demystified for Kenyans to believe that the political rallies is where the focus on BBI should be. So if they go to a very charged political rally, you will end up just hearing rhetoric. And you will continue being or groping in the dark. So that's why I keep insisting. The framework should be very clear. Copies should be made. When somebody tells you they've not read the report, I don't think it would be good to patronize them. You know, I've had several people saying, no, by now you should have seen the report. How do you expect us to put the report? I mean, there are people who are just patronizing the whole deal. I've seen a very creative individuals. They've come together and they've put the BBI report on an application that you can download on your mobile phone. That's amazing. I have seen others who have actually summarized the BBI report to key things that are concerned a particular area. That is a very good thing. I have seen so many people who are in the health groups. They are actually talking about the rights of a patient. If you've not read them, they are amazing. I mean, Zainab, there are so many amazing things within the BBI report, but many Kenyans are not getting to hear them. Because they're expecting these things, these great ideas within the BBI to come out in political rallies.
Look at it this way as well. So we have more than 100 members of parliament right now in Naivasha. And of course, this is a retreat sort of to counter what they're saying is the ongoing BBI rallies that has created a narrative that is for the 2022 succession politics. So what they're saying is, we do accept the Bomas document that was presented to the president back in the Bomas.
Yes.
But they're saying, so there's BB1, and of course they were waiting for BB2.
Yes.
BBI2, sorry.
Correct.
So they're saying we are going to hold our own meetings
Yes.
within the different constituencies and wards
Yes.
across the country.
Yes.
And we're going to form our own agenda, and we're going to take charge, and this is according to Senator Murkomen,
Yes.
take charge of the narrative that, of course, that is taken away by the other rally.
And you can see where this one is coming from.
So isn't this counterproductive for the Kenyans?
It is indeed. Because now you will have BBI creating two factions.
Right.
You see where I go back to the president? What he said?
Right.
Avoid this thing being hijacked by politicians. And I believe this is where it's getting to. The proponents right now of BBI would say, BBI, and I've had one of the politicians saying this, BBI will produce a political vehicle for 2022. And they are joining that bandwagon. If you are not with BBI, then politically you're done. So you have people joining the BBI bandwagon because of the succession politics of 2022. And you have others who are saying BBI has got nothing to do with 2022. But Zainab, let me tell you, if you're not new to Kenyan politics, you know for a fact that we are heading, if things don't change, we are heading for a referendum.
Right.
After a referendum, what do you expect? The country will be so charged politically that we will start serious campaigns towards 2022.
Is it even viable? June referendum?
Actually, with goodwill, it could be. It could be.
But is that the way to go?
I wish, in my own view, probably it would have waited. And probably where it gets a little bit hazy for me is because I know for sure a very wonderful program called the Big Four Agenda will be affected.
Right.
And by the way, Zainab, I keep insisting, we had taken on a very good trajectory when we talked about the Big Four Agenda.
In fact, you've raised a very important issue.
Yeah.
So is it the forgotten agenda?
Yeah. When we start the referendum and what have you, a referendum brings all his own political wastes and new energies. All the energies are merged, it becomes my only concern is that a good program which meant very well, which was a game changer for Kenya, which was putting up, continued putting us in the global map, is going to be affected. But then again, if we lay a very good platform for the Big Four Agenda, that it is so strengthened and the foundation is so core that any other administration coming in will see the value of the Big Four Agenda and what it does to Njiko, that they will continue with it, then I think we'll be safe. But that will then mean the president's legacy will be eaten off. Give it,
so
give
something
or take
must
2 years.
give.
Oh, something must give. Something we can't have everything. We can't do a referendum and still put BBI. I don't think that will be possible.
Gabe,
we can try, but I don't think it will be possible.
And as we talk about Naivasha and of course the MPs that are in that particular retreat, our Seth Olale is currently on standby and will be bringing us all the details on the same. In fact, is here. Very good morning to you, Seth. So you've been there since yesterday evening, and of course the meeting that has been held since yesterday. You are with Jane Kihara, the Naivasha Member of Parliament. What more details can you tell us from this particular meeting? Have you heard what the agenda really is?
Well, the agenda is basically BBI way forward. And yesterday there were about 123 legislators. They're expecting 30 more this morning. But even to brief us further on who else to expect, because we're talking about 200 members of parliament expected to gather here in Naivasha. I'm just going to invite right now the area MP just to come and tell us more what this particular forum is all about, because Kipchumba Murkomen yesterday, who is also the Senate Majority Leader, did indicate that this is a matter of the Building Bridges initiative and the way forward and what's going to happen from here. But even just to tell us more about this particular meeting, you are hosting this meeting. Yesterday you were 123, you're expecting 30 more today, but even more important, what's the big agenda?
It has become evident that we are going to change or amend the Constitution. And the Constitution is the Bible or the Quran that runs a country. And being a transition period, and of course the BBI task force on its force, we want to know the way forward, just like you have put it. We want to know what is it that we are going to present now that Haji is back again. You know, we thought what we launched in Bomas was enough. And we said there was no debate. We were going to go on with it. But now that they're back in the field, collecting views, what is it as like-minded MPs we would like to tell Haji and his group? So we are here to think about that, to have an agenda, and also maybe a presentation of a memorandum that we'll give to Haji as to what we would want to be put in the constitution.
There's also speculation that, you know what, this also could be an announcement of a new formation even as we approach 2022 elections.
That is just a speculation, like you have called it. You know, this is our country, all of us, me and you and everybody else. And that is why you saw some of us decided to go to the Mombasa meeting. Because if we are supporting the BBI, so you should not sit there, do your own things, and we see the other side doing their own things. Because it's not us versus you. So that's what we want to do. What is it that what we want said? What is it that we want to say? What is it that we are going to present? It's just that, knowing that very well there is a referendum coming.
And of course, you mentioned that you will continue to attend the BBI forums, consultative forums, as they're being held in various regions. Are you still part and parcel of that plan?
Of course we are. We are part of it. Very much part of it. And maybe if we are a very big group, we split. The same thing. We want to tell Kenyans the same thing. So if you go east and I go west and we are preaching the same gospel, it reaches Christ quickly.
Thank you so much. That is the area MP, Naivasha legislator, who's also the host here in Naivasha, even as we expect over 150 legislators to converge here at the Lake Naivasha Resort, where this particular meeting started yesterday. But even we talked to Kipchumba Murkomen, who's the Senate Majority Leader, about the expectations of this particular meeting. Remember that they had up to a 2 hours meeting yesterday at night, and it ended at about 11 p.m. But even to tell us more about what that meeting was all about, let's now listen in to Kipchumba Murkomen.
Ukikumbuka kabla tujamaliza mwaka jana tulikuwa na regional meetings. Wengine walikutana Embu, sisi tulikutana hapa, wengine walikutana huko Kisii, wengine wakukutana huko Pwani. Sasa leo tumekubaliana kwamba kama watu ambao wako na fikra moja, aswa wengi wetu tukiwa watu wa Jubilee na marafiki wetu wengine, tukasema kwamba itakuwa ni vizuri tulete mawazo yetu pamoja, aswa kwa mambo ya Building Bridges Initiative. Sasa inaonekana wazi kwamba tunaelekea kuripoti ifanyiwe validation na kuongezwa mambo mengine, na pia kunaonekana sasa tunaweza kuelekea mahali ambapo tutabadilisha katiba. Na kwa hivyo tunaanza sasa kujipanga jinsi ambavyo tutasonga mbele pamoja, tusaidie taifa letu iweze kasonga mbele. Wengi wetu hapa tunaamini ya kwamba kuketi pamoja, rais amekuwa akisema mara mingi na wote wamesema kwamba kama wananchi tukaribiane kukuja pamoja. Sisi tunataka kuleta watu wetu pamoja. Ukiona sehemu za Jubilee aswa ambao ilipigia rais na sisi kura sana, ni sehemu ambazo sasa BBI inakuja. Na utakuwa na BBI itategemea sisi kupanga mikutano kwa sehemu hizo, na lazima pia tujipange jinsi ambavyo tutafanya. Ikiwa tayari tumejitangaza kwamba hatutaki kutumia pesa ya umma.
Well, this is where the meeting is also going to take place. I'm just going to have a sneak view of what's supposed to happen here today. And the legislators are supposed to gather here. Some of them are already present, and we're expecting about 100 or so more. And just like you had the majority leader of the Senate, Kipchumba Murkomen, saying that they're expecting large numbers here, and they're just, charting their way forward in matters Building Bridges initiative. And this is after the regional consultative forums actually began in earnest, talking about the Kisii Forum, the Western Kakamega Forum, as well as now the recent Mombasa Forum. Of course, we know that now all roads lead to Kitui, where the next consultative forum is now headed towards to. And according to legislators here, including the host MP and the Senate Majority Leader, they will be part and parcel of those particular meetings. They're just strategizing on how and even when to, give their views in it, and even how to counter, and especially their political opponents. Back to you in studio, Zainab.
All right. Thank you so much, Seth. And of course, Seth will be taking a look and of course keeping a very close eye on the developments in Naivasha. Gabriel, do you see this as a strategy sort of like to just scuttle the agenda that the BBI had taken traction on?
Zainab, one thing that can be allowed, and in fact I was talking to a few gentlemen over the weekend.
All right.
And they have they are very great people who have a very extended legal advantage. And what they were telling me is that it is actually allowable that a political formation can take a common stand on BBI. They can sit down and read it and take a common stand. Same way a religious institution or a religious group can take a stand. Same way, any formation, whether it's the youth or whether it's in a particular gender, they can take a particular stance on BBI. For instance, women right now in leadership, look at one of the secondment of BBI that advocates highly on gender, in particular the gubernatorial setting, where if the governor is male, the deputy governor is female, and vice versa, as a very good thing, and they can take a stand based on that particular arrangement. So it is not out really of the norm when a political party or a political coalition will take a common stand. We actually expect, if you haven't seen so far, ODM as a political party, they've taken a stand on BBI. It could not be all of them, but the party has taken a common stand.
Right, okay.
We expect, and I think that's probably what I'm seeing in Naivasha, Jubilee is pushing towards an arena where they'll also take a common stand. That's what I'm reading.
Right.
Question is, will all of them within Jubilee, because some of them are actually have started causing up again to ODM. Will they take a common stand? We have to wait and see. But it is not out of the norm for Jubilee to take a common stand on BBI.
All right. So that is something that we'll be taking a very close look at.
We need to. And Zainab, we've forgotten something.
Right. Very quickly.
Politics have taken us in that we've forgotten to eulogize Kobe Bryant, an amazing guy. We all grew up watching Kobe Bryant, the Lakers, and it is quite a loss. Somebody who had just retired from basketball now was waiting to be with his family and invest. Imagine it is. I mean, it's surely that's a hit.
It's a huge hit for the National Basketball Association, and of course the sporting world.
Yes.
Right,
yes,
indeed.
Yes.
So we'll be taking a look at that as well, and of course a lot of tributes flowing in, and of course Barack Obama, I could see a tweet there. A lot of tributes. We'll be taking a look at that in our subsequent bulletins, but of course our condolences to the family of the Bryant family, and of course the sporting world in general. This is where we end AM Live Plus today in the morning. Thank you so much, Gabriel Mudhuma, governance and political analyst, taking a look at some of the political developments in the country. With other stories making headlines, we are also keeping a very close eye on what is happening in Naivasha. Seth Olale is there. Thank you so much once again. My name is Zainab Ismail. Have yourself a lovely morning and a fantastic week ahead.
Be part of over 40,000 students pursuing and nurturing their career at Moi University. Enroll now. Moi University, the foundation of knowledge. Did you know? We operate in 12 countries within the continent and internationally, making us a leading African banking group. Absa Group, serving Kenya as Barclays.
Betikana community is a movement. We started this initiative to support grassroots talent because we want to change and transform lives.
Ball imechange maisha yangu. Ball imefanya nimerudi shule, nimemaliza shule. Hope sana ball itanisaidia.
At Betika we saw the amazing talent that our youth have in football around Kenya, and we said what are the challenges that these teams and these young people are facing, and the most immediate need for them was football kits.
Tumepata uniform safi, tutakuwa tunatumia kwa tournament, so tuko ready kupiga shughuli.
Every winning team will take home a cash prize of 200,000. They get to nominate a community project in their area. Our dream is to see our boys playing in those grand soccer stadiums across the world, and we'll be very proud when we see some of our Betikana community players in such tournaments.
Molfix breathable surface developed with airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele. Kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele. Tusonge mbele.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge Mbele bundles at affordable prices.
I hope hujakuja hapa kuturingia hiyo nyumba yako ya kijusuru penye unakotanga takataka.
Point of correction. Hiyo nyumba ni release.
Niko na mradi mwingine nataka kushughulikia. Sasa wewe unadai kwa ngapi hapa?
Mimi unafai kuuliza unadai mangapi?
Ukiingia hapa kwa hii gate, huko umeona pale pameandikwa na chokora salau.
Ai, serious ya witi. Kama walikuwa wameandika hivyo, na wewe ulikupaliwa acha hapa ndani.
Jinsi Jacob, unajua ni Crotas alikuwa na mabwana wawili.
What about Crotas? Na Crotas je?
Nimekukanya kumuita mbebu. Katafuta mashokora wenzako huko waite mbebu. Crotas. Tusaka kameenda tunaweza ongea.
Do I know you? Ndabishana na ile siku taoga. Afadhali mimi nafaa kuoga mwili peke yake na niko sawa. Wewe unafaa kuoga mwili na akili na bado utafuta pesa.
Nikishika chakula yangu mnanawa mkono kwanza. Ama kuna place kunauzwa gloves hapa karibu?
Pia tujui sana, lakini nimesikia hapa chini kuna mahali panauzwa common sense.
NTV, turning on your world.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Living with Us. I'm Sharon Mundia, and I'm joined by three women who defied the odds and set up businesses and brands that completely revolutionized their lives, but also the lives of their customers and their audience. We have got three women who also are winners from the Women in Business Awards 2019. I've got right next to me in the gorgeous gown, one of her pieces too, because she came to slay. I've got Maureen Aringo, and she's the founder of Hando African Designs. Next to Maureen, I've got Alaka Lugonzo, who's a coordinator of AWAKE, which stands for Association of Women in Energy and Extractives in Kenya. Oh, I really can't wait to hear more about that. Happy New Year, ladies.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I hope we're all feeling good about 2020 and we're putting out great energy because Lord knows 2019 was intense, right? Was it intense for you and a little wild?
It was.
Made it, and you made it seem so easy, which I know whenever it looks like, oh, I'm just gonna win an award casually, no big deal. I know deep down it's like a duck underwater, your legs are paddling but on top you're gliding. So I want to hear a little bit more about each one of your brands, but first I want to get to know you. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Maureen. Were you always interested in fashion? Did you grow up picking out your own outfits and just trying to patch things together?
Thanks for having me. I would say, yeah, I always had a passion in fashion since like forever.
Okay.
But it's not something I went to school for.
Okay.
I actually did science in school. I have a degree in science. So, but it's passion, and we all know you can't put that away.
Right.
It always has a way of just coming out.
Yeah, it just kept calling you.
Yeah.
So did you find that it was an easy transition to go from your science degree to fashion? Was it? What was that like?
Yes, because it's something I really wanted to do on the side. So yeah, it's very easy. Because it's something. I won't say very easy, but yeah, because it's something you love doing. So like I'm being punished for doing it, or I'm being forced to do it.
But
so
was it? I guess what I'm asking is, was that difficult at all? Did it come with any kind of anxieties? Did you have to place things in order, have savings? Did you have to, what was it like jumping from something that's quite structured to science and business?
It did. Like every other business, you don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know if you're gonna get clients or not. You don't know if the passion is only yours alone. If people are gonna understand you. So yeah, there was insecurities. Yeah, but if you really like what you're doing, it's easier.
You're gonna make it work.
Yeah.
And what about you, Alaka? Well, first, that tight association of women in energy and extractives. And as I was reading a little bit about what you do. And then chatting to you before the camera started rolling, and it's like, YouTube, who are you? All the makeup tutorials, that's all, and just seeing how you, and this is what I love so much about being a woman, is that you are so complex and you have so many layers to you.
That's true.
That you can't be boxed into just one. So tell me about your childhood and how you got into the energy business.
I am a lawyer by profession.
Okay.
I started off the usual, practicing, going to court, dealing with clients, and then halfway through it I was like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life?
What kind of law?
Civil litigation, criminal litigation, conveyancing. I was the typical advocate.
Okay.
Then I got an opportunity to study, to do a degree in an LLM, a master's degree in oil, gas and mining. So that's how I ended up in the energy and extractive space. So for me it was a transition out of the going to court, civil litigation, criminal litigation. And since then Kenya had just discovered oil, and there's a lot of talk, that's around 2012, there's a lot of talk of is there enough capacity in the country, are there enough oil and gas lawyers, and also mining we just got a new mining act in 2016. So I think all those things, when I looked at it, I was like, my future can actually be in this sector. So how do I redefine myself as an expert in this sector? So for me, I just took the leap of faith, packed up my things, went to the UK, did a master's, and came back, and it's been a journey. It's been a journey. So it's not really defined. I can't really say that there's somebody who's walked the same path. So like everybody else, today I step here, tomorrow I step here. So it's been 3 years since I came back, and I can say it's been a good journey. It's been an interesting journey, because there's nobody to actually tell you, go here, do this, do that, because there are not many oil and gas and mining experts per se, and especially in the women, the gender and extractive space.
Right.
So you're just, as you said, just gliding and gliding, paddling and gliding, and looking like this thing is working.
On the surface, it looks like I know.
Yeah, but I'm just sticking everything together with spit. Hopefully, it actually sticks.
So you feel like you've not had people to sort of define this space for you, and you're just chatting.
Yes, because for me, I train. I train in the sector. I also work in the sector, because what our work is a not for profit. So we're just looking for opportunities for women in the sector. So is there anyone who's done it before? No. So we're actually 3 years old.
Wow.
So everything is just, we try this, we try, okay, that doesn't work, we try this, okay, that works,
Yeah.
okay, so we'll do that. So it's a trial and error sort of thing.
Wow.
Yes.
Right, so innocent. Okay, so I know for sure that you didn't grow up thinking digital, because digital wasn't what it is today, right? A lot of even the careers that have come out weren't there even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So what did you want for yourself as a child, and when did that start to shift?
Okay, I think as a child, yeah, I've always been passionate about communication, but I didn't think of it in terms of digital. Yeah, so when I was growing up, I was just like always, me, I want to be a news anchor. I want to anchor. But I just think, like the way we're just saying it, life just happens. I found myself, you know, starting from down there, being a receptionist, yeah, then got into communication, went back to school, studied communication, but I found myself in a setup where at an insurance company. So at the insurance company where I started doing the sales, then I was just like, okay, I think I'm also good in PR. So I decided, let me study this and see how it goes. So when I got employed into now communication and PR, then I started to see, okay, there's something coming up in digital. So how do we do it? Because at that time there were no digital strategies. You don't know how to do it. People don't understand YouTube. They don't know how to do Facebook. You don't understand Twitter. You don't understand LinkedIn. So now I got interested into that and now started doing Google courses. You know, they enlightened me. They paced me forward. You know, so that's the way I got myself into the digital space. Yeah.
So I think what's interesting to note is that you all had to learn to be flexible, and despite having a clear vision for what it is that you wanted, you still are able to jump in and be like, all right, so now we're moving more into energy and oil, and that's where the country's going. Okay, I'm going to go there. Digital has just jumped into and completely revolutionized how we communicate and interact with each other. I'm going to have to learn that. And also for fashion, from science, that is like worlds apart. So you all won Women in Business Awards. Can you tell me about that, about being nominated and the categories you were nominated in as well? And just share your experience. What was it like that day in November 2019? Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go
you
first.
Can go first, yeah.
Okay, I think for me it just cemented the work that I've been doing with this space that, again, I said it's uncharted. So when somebody actually still don't know the person who nominated me, because you know you get the email and then they call you and tell you you've been nominated for this category. So my category was environment and natural resources. So under the environment and natural resources, the work that we do deals essentially with natural resources, and then again environment conservation of the environment, especially when people are getting the oil, the gas, or the mining or the minerals out of the ground. So for me, I think it validated the work that I do, and it also humbled me, because I'm like, if there's somebody outside there who's actually seeing that I'm actually doing a good job, then it means I can actually continue, you know, doing it. And then I think the best part is that when you put out the poster and people actually say, oh, I voted for you. Yeah. I saw your poster in a group. I actually got a talk out of that poster. Somebody posted the poster in a WhatsApp group, and a lady actually called my sister. Then my sister called me and told me, I saw your poster circulating. Would you be interested in doing a talk? So some of those, the ripple effect has been more. Yes, than and then also I think the people actually went out of their way to vote for you. Exactly. So that also was like, oh, okay, they're actually people who think this thing that I'm doing actually makes sense. So on the day, it was nerve-wracking on the day. I think these ladies were there because there were many people in the room. And then people actually came out in numbers. People actually came out to support one another. So you could see the tables when the ladies were there. Everyone was just waiting. Oh my God, my category has been called. My category has been called. And I was sitting next to her, by the way. So she was called. Were you called before me?
Yeah, I was called before you.
So we were the three of us. So we all stood up and we were screaming and running towards the stage. And then she was in front and I was running behind her with my camera. There was somebody else running behind her with the camera. So it was just more, I was like, gosh, she's won. I have to win because I've come here to take pictures. I hope people... Yeah, so it was very nerve-wracking. So it was good at least the two of us sitting next to each other had the opportunity, you know, to actually go on stage and take pictures of each other and receive the award. But it really validates you. But it's also humbling. I hope for all of us ladies will actually take this and say, it shouldn't grow on our side. This we've reached, you know, because you can actually reach, and you can say, okay, yeah, people have voted for me, yeah, but it should tell us, it should teach us that there's so much more to do outside there. An award is just an award. It's as good as the work you know. Exactly, it's a reward, but then now the pressure now has been amped up. I mean, you've won an award, so now what next? Everyone's looking at you like, so next, yeah.
People
so that's
watching.
yeah. So it's a balance. It's a mix of both. Yeah.
But I just even got excited hearing the story. What was it like for you, Miss, and in what category?
Yeah, even for me, it was really, humbling, because I was like, you are at a point in your life where you're like, okay, I've just started an agency, in digital, and then there are these big names out there already established, and then you find yourself, you were nominated against, very big brands. You're just like, okay, because it reached a point me when you ask, hey, if you vote for me, can you please vote for me, whichever way it goes. Night. In fact, I remember putting a post on Facebook and telling people, whichever way it goes, we've already won by being nominated, meaning somebody is seeing what you're doing, So for me, it was really humbling to being the best, upcoming, because
what was the category?
My category, I was nominated in 3.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, how
I had youth. Yeah, because of working with, at Pace Code, we look for very fresh talent, people who are into graphic, people who are into videography, people who are into experiential marketing, so we take fresh people from, graduates and everything. So I think people just nominated me for youth. Somebody did startup, because we've just been running for 3 years now. This is the 3rd year Pace Code has been running. And then now there was the PR, communication and digital. So, and this is what we really wanted, because that's where our strength is. So what I think from these awards, what is coming out,
where you won.
Yes, and this is where we won. So I was like, people are watching. Whatever you're doing, never undermine yourself. Always look at the other brighter side of life. You might be seeing, okay, what I'm doing, my efforts are not being, recognized, but just by being nominated, it shows like people appreciate what you're doing, whatever little you're doing and putting out there. Yeah.
Great. So what was it like for you?
Wow.
I imagine you were wearing one of your pieces that night.
Mine was intense. Just from the word go. Like she said, they send an email. So I got a notification on my email. Handle African Designs will be nominated for Creative Industry Award. I'm like, creative? Okay, let's see how this goes. I was so excited. Then of course the campaign started, and I think I won during the asking for vote period, because people were just intense. The support was intense. I was like, okay. So all these guys actually believe in, in this business, in the brand, in what we do. Because how many fashion designers do you know out there?
Oh, there's a lot.
And then and then the people who we were nominated with are so huge in the industry. I was just like, whatever happens, the nomination is just perfect.
Wow.
Also, it came at a perfect time. 2019 was, harsh.
Right.
I was like, you know what, we're gonna end this year really nicely, whether it's a nomination or a win. This is just it.
Right.
So then the voting process, then now on the D-Day, I was actually alone.
You didn't come with anyone? Why?
We're all alone. No, none of us.
What?
I was just a big gangster. I don't know. It's just like, if I win, if you lose, I don't want people here.
Oh my goodness.
I was alone.
Okay.
So I just went and joined some other ladies. As in, all my friends were in tables that were already full. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make friends tonight and just do business. So I joined a table where there were different people, So I was just there chilling, and then my award was like later on. So one of the last ones. So as it kept going, I just so intense. I was like, do I go home now? What do I do now? Because but anyway, I was called and I just floated all the way up there.
You don't remember? I was just like, wow.
Took the award and came back. It actually dawned on me when I got home
that you won.
I was like,
it must have been so validating.
Really
and to hear that all of you felt, wow, I'm going up against these big names, brands, houses that have been in the industry way longer, or have a lot more maybe support systems, structures in place. And for you to get that, it must have given a kind of, it must have re-energized you in a way that you needed after 2019. All right, we've got to take a break. When we come back, I want to hear what the ladies are doing for 2020 and get some tips so that we can all just learn from you all. We'll be back in a moment.
More slices na bei ni ile ile. Lit 360.
Hey there, this is Crystal Asige.
Very baby, and I'm the storyteller. Ay. My name is Ben Sol. You're watching Lit 360.
The best thing to happen to the 254 full of fashion, food, music, and of course, some fun.
You know me lampupa, eh. Toto kiboko.
Party after party. Party after party. After party after party.
Lit 360.
All that wrapped into one to give you all the juice, the sauce, and the tea, and get it all on camera for you.
Every day, NTV News Team moves you to the center of the action.
The security forces who took that in this operation.
Police are not taking anything to chance.
Moves you to the heart of the story to witness and record history.
Rendering the declared results null and void.
Telling the story of Kenya.
The growing importance of border in Mandera.
Matatus will be on strike.
And beyond.
The politics in the United States capital. It is the 7th edition of the Global Education taking place in Dubai.
When it comes to business, we crunch the numbers and unpack the detail with the latest information for your investment decision.
It's time to say goodbye to this note and karibu to this note.
In order for the manufacturing sector to be elevated from the ground.
Despite the government's promise to create at least 1.3 million jobs,
Moves you fast past the planes and trucks to bring you the triumphs and joys of our great men and women.
Moving stories that touch our hearts.
I didn't know that I could go back to school. The back to school program has brought hope to these young mothers.
NTV News. News that moves you.
You know very well that I don't need Samantha.
Then why on earth did you abduct her?
Because I failed to kidnap you.
Please don't do this. Let's talk about this, okay? Take me to my son right now. Because if you don't, I won't hesitate to shoot you in the head. He's in here.
Is the yacht already here? It's on its way, Governor. What?
I'll take care of JR.
Hillary! Don't you dare touch him! Samantha, will you marry me?
Just move into the weekend where there's something for everyone. For relationship, financial, and travel information, grab the Saturday Magazine. For trendy farming practices and the latest in agricultural technology, read Seeds of Gold every Saturday. Get your gossip and entertainment news in The Buzz every Sunday. For updates on lifestyle hacks, read Lifestyle every Sunday. To keep your child entertained, get Young Nation every Sunday, covering your needs.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. We're at Parkin by Radisson, and I've got 3 women who were winners at the 2019 Women in Business Awards. That is Millicent, Alaka, and Maureen. And now I want to really get to understand your businesses a little bit more. I'd really like to hear a little bit more about your businesses, your brands, but also specifically if you could take me through some of the challenges that you've gone through. Like we've said, 2019, but not even just 2019. I think the last couple of years for a lot of businesses have been so difficult. Many have closed down. And if you could share some of your challenges and how you were able to withstand the storm or overcome these bumps along the way. When we can start with you and your fashion house, Maureen.
The fashion industry is so dynamic. Like people want this today and then they don't want it tomorrow. They want something else.
Right.
You know, so you have to be, you know, out there, always looking for information, always doing extra and just doing the extra mile.
How long have you had Hando?
It's my 4th year now.
4th year.
Yes.
Okay.
4 years of struggle and pain.
Yeah.
And joy.
And joy. Okay.
Yeah. So some of the challenges in 2019 were, there was no flow of cash. Yes. It was a hard.
People were not buying as much as they used to.
Yes.
Because the economy
it was just horrible.
Yeah.
We had like 3 Januaries, then a break in April, then another January in May. It was just chaos. But yeah, we sailed through.
Right. And what kept you going? What are some of those strategies that you put in place that helped you move past the...
You know, every day I get to my office, I look at my employees, I'm like, these guys have families out there, so there's no for failing. You just can't fail. You know, it's not just a brand, we're just not making clothes and making people look nice. We are a whole situation over here, so you just have to wake up and do whatever you have to do.
Right, knowing that you've got a team relying on those checks at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And Alaka, what was 2019 like for you?
I think for my sector it was challenging because again we're a new organization, so visibility is one of those things. So knocking on doors, have been very persistent about knocking on doors.
And what doors are you trying to knock on?
So what we do, let me explain a bit about the business, is that we seek opportunities for women along the oil and gas and mining value chain, meaning we find women who are actually doing mining, who are women who are actually maybe supplying oil and gas companies, and we give them capacity building, we give them advocacy. So for us, it's purely working with, say, banks, for example. If somebody is looking for financing, it means a bank needs to understand how the sector looks like, because mining oil and gas is high risk. So if a bank does not understand the risk it has to take on a business, then we have to step in the gap and explain to them, okay, if you're investing in this business, this is what you anticipate to get, this is what you anticipate, the woman anticipates to do. So, and for us it's mainly women. So our target is mainly women businesses along the oil, gas and mining value chain. So for me, I think it has been seeing an opportunity where there's no opportunity, because when you're starting something and bringing it up, is people are looking at you like, what have you seen that we haven't seen? But for me, it has been constantly knocking on doors. Say, for example, government also, because you know there's an issue on leveraging them in terms of our policies. Are the policies engendered? Are they looking out for women? Are they enough? The 70-30 quota on tenders? Are companies adhering to that? Are women actually going to the banks and knocking on doors and saying, look, we're looking for financing? So it's also been me trying to get the women out of those spaces and also and saying, here are the women, why don't you finance them? Here are the women, why don't you give them capacity building? Here are the women, why don't you do this for them? And also the aspect of also looking for donors and looking for funding. You know, people fund people, they don't fund institutions. So you find, you talk to a donor, it takes you a year or two to actually create that relationship. And then by the time the donor is like, okay, fine, we're ready to fund, we're ready to chime into the organization, let's go. But it's taken the back and forth, the relationship, the coffees, the teas, the getting into their space, them coming into your space, understanding, you know, who you are. So it's a lot of 2019 has been a lot of talking and convincing and begging. Yeah, and so this door shuts, and when this door shuts, and for me, I think I've realized I can't dwell. My biggest lesson is I stopped dwelling on the closed doors, because the moment the door shuts, it doesn't even take me a blink I am on to my next. Like I don't mourn these days. Like I have no transition between the period of mourning that door has locked and banging on another door, because there's no time. There's pretty much no time. So by the time this door is closing, I'm banging on another door for it to open. So by the time the year is over, you've banged on 10 doors and 3 have opened. So for me, that's a win. Yeah. So my biggest lesson for 2019 is I don't dwell. I simply don't dwell. I don't have the benefit, the time. I don't have the luxury, of dwelling. So that has really made me extremely aggressive. It's made me see opportunity where there's no opportunity. It's made me create an opportunity where there's no opportunity. So by the time somebody comes behind you and say, "Oh, you saw that," I'm like, "No, I just didn't dwell on what, And then funny thing is that everybody who has shut their door on me and then have seen the growth, they come back, they're like, "Oh, there was actually something here."
And it's so funny. It's a catch-22. It's like in order for them to to support, they want to see growth.
Yeah, it's them looking for me now. So you can actually pull. They are busy. Yeah, but I think for me the biggest lesson is I don't dwell.
Oh, that's just really good.
I move.
And that's a great tip for. I mean, it's because again, as we're trying to encourage other business owners, there were a lot of no's or a lot of not enough money, clients may be pulling out. So to not dwell and to look for the next as quickly as possible, or to try and minimize your mourning time, like that moment of grief, minimize that. Listen, what was the digital space like?
I can say 2019 was, I think, crazy for everyone, because you find customers that we had, being like building a brand, people we used to work with, really, there's no business. So I'm shutting down.
And what were you doing for them? What services were you offering?
Maybe you're offering digital communication, experiential marketing. Somebody just tells you, we're shutting down, so we won't be able to pay you. You're like, okay, now what's going to happen? Yeah, it was tough for everyone. And I think what I've learned from that is always look for other ways of, once a door is locked, the way Alaka was saying it, there's so much sunshine, for everyone. You're not supposed to be dwelling on just that closed, just one closed thing, or even one side hustle. That's what I learned from being an agency. You can't just be depending on one major client. For instance, you're doing with a multi-million. Now you don't look for any other small, because what made us even stand out was working with these small, small brands, which were continuously also paying, other than the big brands, which all of a sudden they're no more. Yeah, the way we're seeing a lot of, major brands were shutting down. So it was also coming to us because somebody was telling you, how will I pay you?
Right.
Yeah.
And marketing, whenever business is hard, that's where the budget cuts.
Thank you.
Yeah. You just
then
like,
somebody just like, you've been working, maybe you agreed you were going to pay per quarter. Yeah. Then that quarter, maybe the sales were down. Then they don't see like the other side, like the economy wasn't doing well. They're just like, you guys didn't pace us ahead. You didn't market it so well. That's why we've collapsed. So you're like, okay, maybe we always say we offered you the best. So if that wasn't enough, it's okay. Let's look for another door. Let's look for another opportunity. Yeah, and so we always say like we don't settle. Yeah, and just see your brand as the best out there, because you never know when the 360-degree turn can happen.
As you're all talking, I'm just thinking, it's like there's a level of madness needed in order to be an entrepreneur. You've got to be some kind of crazy. And I mean that in the most loving way. Because for you to keep hearing no and you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the next one. For you to start to feel like, oh my gosh, customers are not coming in. There's not enough people coming in and asking for, suits to be tailored or for your expertise in communication. And for you to still continue and be like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm focused. I'm determined. This is going to... It's like you have to be some kind of crazy and to just be okay. Persistent is a kind way to put it. But really, like if anyone was looking from the outside, they'd just be like, are you sure you don't want to quit? But really, that's what makes the business moguls, the icons, the legends that we now look up to, and we think, oh, how amazing are they? Really, if you follow their story, there's like many moments you'd stop and think, there's something not right with this person. But that's the beauty in business.
Exactly.
So, I've got to ask this. You are all winners of the Women in Business Awards. You're 3 women sitting here. So I want to talk about women and entering this space as entrepreneurs. and also, I mean, your business, your core business is around supporting women as well. Yes. Are majority of your clients female? And I don't know if that's the same for you too. So how do you think this industry and this economy has been set up to support women? And in which ways do you think that it's lacking, that there's space for improvement? And do you kind of consider that as you even go along your business and trying to carve out a niche for yourself? And we can start with you, Millicent. I mean, I know the digital space is filled quite a bit with, oh no, I'm talking even from content creators, but there's a wealth of angles from, I guess. But what's it been like?
Okay, I can say, like, you find in digital, you have to, like, push, you know? You have to knock doors and just say, hey, I'm here. Because if you don't, like, the way the economy, I can say, has been framed, you know, not even in Kenya, only in Africa, there's still, like, you know, the male-dominated, you know, fields and careers. So they won't expect, like, girls doing that, you know. Like, what I like about the digital space right now is, like, the way the women are embracing it. Yeah, because you find majority of the people who are using Facebook, YouTube to market their products, their services out there, and even organizations, they are behind them, they're being powered by women. Meaning women are right now they're not even, you know, they're setting up their own tables. They're not looking for seats, yeah, at the table. You give them the wood and everything, the nails, the hammer. We build our own table. And we're like, okay, this is what we have, this is what we offer. Yeah, are you buying it, or are you next, you know? So I like the fact that women in Kenya right now, and in entrepreneurship world, in business, they're really, we are very much fast paced right now. Yeah, and you find, like, top businesses right now are being run by women, which is amazing. Yeah, and I always love, like, when women support other women. You know, they always say, like, when you empower another woman, you just empowered a whole community. So I always think, like, even when I'm doing my recruitment, I'm always like, okay, I'm not saying I'll judge, but I'll always give the same equal opportunities for men and women. Like, maybe you want a videographer. Yeah, why is it like majority of people will take a male? No, this thing can also be done by a female, and they can even do it better.
Okay, so that's how you kind of consider that in your business. And I think what you said is so true, because if I think about even in the last year that I've been running the show and hosting different groups of, say, communities of businesses, of entrepreneurs, I've been pleasantly shocked by how many of them will share that actually about half, if not more, of this community is made up of women, female entrepreneurs. And I was like, wait a second. Oh,
exactly.
All right. Okay then.
I think women have become very, you know, we've become
a lot more aggressive and okay.
And just allow ourselves that being aggressive is okay.
Yeah.
Just go for what you want.
Yeah. What has that been your experience?
My experience has been interesting because I am in, like, the oil, gas and mining space is just male dominated.
Yeah.
Like, so for me it's been carving out a niche has I think it's been also part of my character. It comes it blends in with my character, because for me, one, I don't take no, and then I also have become creative about how, because I expect women to be, yes, you're aggressive, but, you know, be polite, take whatever you get and go with it. So for me, I'm looking at people who for me, gender, when you're explaining something to a larger community about gender, you're not explaining to women that we're in your face. No, you're just saying this is why you should get an opportunity for financing, not because you're a woman, because your business is viable. So you teach the person the skills they need to fish, as opposed to them telling them that, because when you come with a gender card, there's always the repulsion.
A rebuttal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you teach somebody that, yes, your business is registered, your business has bank statements, your business can be able to get financing because it has a period of time whereby it actually made money. So teach people the skills in whereby when they're going to the bank, they're more confident in saying, look at the business, do not look at the person behind the business and the growth. So it's been a turnaround of how to inject more women into the business, because it was more a fight by why are you saying that you should inject women into the sector? No, these women are qualified. If she's an engineer, why are they two female? Why is there a female engineer on site and there's no washroom for her?
Oh.
Yeah, because the men normally at every site you can find the men. There's literally no washroom. but there's a female engineer on site. So where is she supposed to go to the, some of those small things. So make some of those small things aware. Also head of departments, like there's a company I've gone to, they've really gone out of their way to make head of departments women. They even tender and they give out for women, and they also give the training for women, and they also find financing for the women. So it's been a lot of trying to initiate people. It's like an initiation. You get people in, and then they get sucked in, and then all they see is, oh my God, we are not meeting the quartile. We're not meeting the quartile. So for them, it's actually off if the businesses are actually not, we're not making it. So it's been an interesting, it's me to change. I have had to change my perspective about gender. It's not abrasive, but sometimes it can just be gently injecting some of these things into people's mind. Changing mindsets has been very difficult, but it's been gradual, it's been smooth.
Really?
Yes, the mindset
smooth.
Yes, it has to be
so
smooth.
And I know we have to go on break, but I'm going to ask this really quickly. So for instance, with the bathroom situation, was that is it that someone was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that, or are they like,
yes,
don't do it?
Yes, it's actually because most oil and gas engineers or most mining engineers are men.
Yeah.
So why would you expect them to have a changing room where women can actually change from their clothes into their overalls? So, or a place where they can shower after they're coming in from the side. So for them, it's weird. It's something you would never think about. Yeah, but when you explain to them and tell them, you actually need a separate washroom for men and for women, so the women can have an place to change.
They're not opposed to it. They just hadn't considered it.
Exactly.
Which, and I guess that's how we need more alakas in the building, to just be like, hello, I'm going to very gently show you the most obvious thing that's been sitting here. But I love that you've done a different approach. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to hear from you, Maureen. We'll be back in a moment.
Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Registration for January, May and September 2020 intakes is ongoing. Apply now. Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Growing reputation.
Kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele.